What Lucknow is known for is Nawabs as well as Kebabs. And Akbari Gate is the entry point of Chowk. Chowk is the central area of Old Lucknow. Near Akbari Gate is the famous Tunde Kebab. And many people have this misconception that Tunde is a type of kebab or Tunde is a recipe of kebab. So Tunde was actually a person. And Tunde is a derogatory term used for somebody who's got only one hand. So that person is called Tunde. And like in Game of Thrones, the character of Tyrion Lannister, he said that I will own what you throw at me. He said, okay, you're calling me Tunda, I'll make Tunda a brand name. So, so I'll turn the negative into a positive, and I'll make you're making fun of me. I'll ensure your entire generation comes and eats at my place. So Tunde is a
for years,
for centuries. And earlier time, it used to be like, uski dukaan hai, iski dukaan hai. It was like Tunde ki dukaan hai. So even today, there is no signboard in Chowk. You can only go there by the smell of the kebabs. And I know you're a vegetarian, but what you can also get there is sheermal. So sheermal is like a sweet roti kind of thing, like bakar khani you get in Delhi. It's like a version of that. That can be had with kebabs, and it's like a mixed, thoda meetha, khatta, savory type of thing. But that can be had as a dessert on itself.
Okay. The sheermal started at the time of Ghaziuddin Haider. So sheermal is the normal fluffy bread with a saffron. So the story is when it was offered to him, so many things were offered to on the royal menu. He only took a bite, and there used to be a type of sheermal with a corner cut. Remembering Ghaziuddin Haider has taken a morsel out of that sheermal.
What a nice story! What a nice story!
There are a lot of historically fascinating places in India, and we've spoken about several of them in our podcast episodes earlier. From stories of the Chola era or Sora era, you have Mughal architecture, influence of Sayaji Rao, Victorian British themes, so many things. Personally, I love places which have a lot of old era influence, because that means that particular place has so many stories to hear about. This episode on Lucknow today is one of the best storytelling episodes that I've recorded, because our guests in the episodes are pro-level storytellers. They are authors themselves, and one of them has in fact been called a history evangelist too. And I 100% agree with the title that has been given to him. I'm very excited to introduce this father and son Jodi today. We have Mr. A.K. Srivastav, who is this history evangelist that I mentioned earlier, and his son, Vaibhav Srivastav. Vaibhav is our superstar guest from an earlier episode that we did on Mumbai, which in fact is still the #1 highest heard episodes on Misadventures of a Sneaker. And I am your host, Devati, a curious cat who just listened to the Srivastav in sheer awe through this entire episode. Listening to stories of the many imambaras of Lucknow, churches that were earlier mosques, mosques that were built by Hindu queens, a Nawab who was a skilled Kathak dancer, stories of the great Kathak maestro Birju Maharaj, music director Naushad Ali, and then of course, since we were in the land of Nawabs and Kebabs, lots and lots of talks on kebabs and chaats and biryanis and chicken kurtas and whatnot. So I'm sure after this episode, Lucknow is going to see a sudden surge in its tourism numbers, all thanks to the Srivastav duo. So let's take a very quick break before we jump into this conversation, because I don't want to hold you guys away for any longer. Hey, do you know we write a travel themed newsletter every fortnight? Yep. And in each newsletter, we write about different destinations and travel experiences from around the world. In fact, you'll get lots of details about this particular episode too in our upcoming newsletter. Head over to misadventuresofasneaker.substack.com. That is misadventuresofasneaker.substack.com. You will find the link in our show notes as well. And by the way, if you enjoy listening to our podcast, you could support our team by buying us a coffee. Head over to our show notes and click on support to contribute any amount you'd like. It'll be a huge morale booster for us. Thank you.
I am extremely excited about this episode. I am also a little nervous. And coming from me, it's a very big deal because I can talk to anyone and everyone. But today we have with us, even the khaki tours of Mumbai has referred to him as like a historian, history evangelist and all that. So uncle, I am under tremendous pressure, but I'm so happy to have you on the podcast with us. And this podcast is extremely special because we have a father and son duo with us. Vaibhav is really popular in our circles, in my podcast circles, because I always tell people, everyone is scared, that long form podcast, kaun sunta hai itna lamba podcast. The podcast with Vaibhav, which is the one based in Mumbai, is a close to a 4-hour long podcast. And till this podcast is the number one podcast on our channel, the most number of listens, across all the platforms. So if conversations are engaging and interesting, everyone likes to listen to it. And Vaibhav, you're the star of our podcast. So thank you so much for being back. And I remember while talking to you the first time, you had mentioned कि अगली बार कभी तो हमको लखनऊ साथ में करना है. I'm thrilled that we are doing this, and that we are doing it with your dad as well. So hi both of you all.
Hi Revati, thank you so much. This is, for me, it's an honor to be doing with my father, and also to be, I think, the first person to be invited twice in your podcast.
Correct.
So I'm counting that as an achievement.
Wow, what an achievement. And by the way, this father and son duo that we have, besides being history buffs, they are both authors as well. Vaibhav has written a fantastic book circling around stories of Mumbai. It's called The Sea of Stories, Mumbai's and Bombay's. We'll link up this book in our show notes. And Vaibhav, why don't you tell us about Uncle's book?
Yeah, so he has actually written a book on Indian Railways. The book was published in 2012. It is called Dabhoi Lines, Railways of Yore. So Dabhoi line was the first narrow gauge railways that was started in India in sometime in the 19th century by Maharaja Sayajirao Gaikwad, who was a big patron of arts and science. There is Maharaja Sayajirao University.
Yeah.
So, and there's a very cool image, a very archaic image, but a cool image that is there on the book, is that one of the coaches or one of the carriages is being pulled by two bulls. So on a narrow gauge, there's a carriage and it's being pulled by two bulls. So my father, he is a lot into history. He's a lot into history overall, but specifically into railways. So he wrote an entire book because he found that facet of the first narrow gauge line in India very interesting. And you can find it online. It's called Dabhoi Lines, Railways of Yore. It was a book commissioned by the railways. It's for railway buffs and historians, it's a important book. And Mark Tully wrote the foreword.
Yeah.
That's his book.
Wow. So net, I'm having two authors on the podcast today, yaar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uncle, I'm so happy that you have agreed to come on this podcast. I have seen your the videos that you've done regarding history of Lucknow वगैरह. When I travel to places, I like to know the history of that places. Not really, कौन से तारीख में क्या हुआ था, 1852 something happened, 1921, and not like that. But more of the murals on that. What does it depict? What is the story behind it? Who did it? Those kind of things. And I've heard you speaking about all of that. So I am very thrilled that we could get you on the podcast. So thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
So Uncle, you've been a civil servant. You've been working in the railways, through your life. How has it been, traversing when in the railways, you go to the length and breadth of the countries? I actually also am from a railway background. My Nanaji has been in the railways. So my mom has traveled across India, and she tells me so many stories about, so when we went to our Nani's place, it was always by the, the railway line. So we like the sound of the train and all the stories that Nanaji tells us, about the railways, vagara. So I have some kind of a background about that, but I'd like to ask you, tell me some stories about how it was growing up. What were your earliest memories of vacations? Then how did that move forward about being in the railways, etc.?
Okay, thank you. Actually, so the life of a civil servant, irrespective of the job you are doing taxation, you are in the administration, you are in the railways, we are all nomads. We keep on wandering from one place to another place to another place. There is no permanent abodes, and my life was like that. That's why I call it's a journey across space and time.
Nice.
Now, because it is the issue of railways, railway operation, it has been used extensively. And everybody listens to it on the platform. 5251 up aa hai, 5254 down, आधे घंटे late hai. So most of the time it becomes mystery. What's up and what's down?
True.
Because the everything is coming on the same plane. So nobody is going up and nobody is going down. So why we call it up and down? So it is again linked with the same concept of journey across time and space. So what railways does, they used to chart it manually. Now they do it with the help of a computer. Where the two trains which are coming on the opposite direction on a flat plane on a chart paper, they are drawn. So one train has to go up in one direction. The other train is coming on the opposite direction in down, because they have to take a call where the crossing will take place, where one train will stay and the passengers will curse the railway man, station master, and anybody they know कि हमारी गाड़ी रुकी हुई है, हमारी गाड़ी रुकी हुई है, चार गाड़ियां निकाल दी. So that is the place which is decided basically based on the matrix of time and space.
I really pictured this entire train wala scene, uncle.
Yeah. And but in my case and everybody's lives, as you mentioned about the lifespan, I started my journey in the railways. My first posting was on the bank of a river which used to be called Sadanira, now popularly known as Gandak, because it comes from the Himalayas, snow-fed, always full of water.
Nice. And which is this place?
Samastipur. The Samastipur I have heard only once in my life before landing up there. That was the station where railway minister was killed in a bomb explosion. That was my only. I heard it in newspapers in '74. Lalit Narayan Mishra, railway minister, bomb blast, Samastipur railway station, got killed.
काफी रॉकिंग जगह में चालू किया है आपने.
Yeah, and my first posting order came for that place. And going across, crossing rivers and bridges and cities and states, I landed up from banks of Sadanira to shores of Arabian Sea, Mumbai. So that was a long journey, 35 years, and at least 6-7 states and umpteen number of districts.
Wow.
So because you are asking about the travel experience,
yes.
Why travel? There are certain things which are always etched in your memory, rather carved in your memory. So there are few journeys I would like to recount, and two of them are related to the steam engines.
Oh, nice.
Steam engine, traveling on a steam engine, because everybody travels in a coach. But being a railwayman, you can travel in engine, you can travel in a brick van, you can travel in a saloon, different
you have the
places.
Privilege of doing that. Yeah.
It becomes a job. You are supposed to do an inspection.
हमको privilege लगता है, आपको काम लगता है.
Correct. No, it's privilege also, because that experience normally not many, everybody will miss it.
Yeah.
And especially traveling on a steam engine. Now they are all part of folklore and a romantic past.
Yeah. Shah Rukh Khan comes with a steam engine behind him in movies.
Correct. Vidata was a picture with a steam engine. And everybody will sing a song. But life is not a song inside a steam engine. It's very hot, number one. Number two, there is no place to sit. You have to stand up.
Oh.
And you should know how to tie a hanky on your head, because a lot of coal will come in your hair. And when you
automatic die ho jayega, uncle.
And when you land up at your home, you become pariah. Nobody will touch you. Nobody will talk to you. You have to go to bathroom, use half a bottle of shampoo, and become a normal human being again. So that was the steam engine. But the incidents I am talking about, it was really thrilling. It was a wintry night, sometime in December. Temperature must have come down to 4 degrees centigrade or maybe below. And at that time, steam engine was very comforting.
Correct.
And from my college days, I was fond of poetry. So I was remembering a poem of Walt Whitman, To a Locomotive in Winter. Of course, the poem remembers about the snow and all that, but it was the closest to snow. There was a fog, heavy fog.
Wow.
And we were going through that.
It's a really popular poem, by the way. It's like a setting.
Yeah. And I was only wishing somebody can offer me a cup of tea. And using the fire of steam engine, somehow or other, magically, the driver produced a cup of tea.
Wow.
And then we were going across bridges. And then there was a fog. At that time, even now, I was quite fond of haiku, a 3-line Japanese poem. And I looked at the river. I was supposed to make a note, how our signal, how driver is behaving, but I was thinking about poetry. So I can share with you.
Please do.
So the poem was, the haiku was, Safed chadar odhe, Safed chadar odhe, so rahi hai nadi. Safed chadar odhe, so rahi hai nadi, ठंड जो बहुत है.
So beautiful, so beautiful. You really do you note these down and keep it, or आपको याद है ये सब?
So instead of noting down the material for my inspection note, I was living in a totally different words.
Very beautiful. Like the fog on the nadi and all, it totally brings that picture. Beautiful.
And the second experience was totally different. I posted in same Samastipur division. Then the steam engine days, coal was the main thing. And there used to be ash pits. Because whatever coal is getting burned, the burnt cinder you have to remove. So there was a boy who came running with a cleft on a stick forked into two parts with a 2 rupee note.
Okay.
I was just not aware. I've been taught about signals and drivers and loco and a foreman and fireman and all that. Then suddenly dawned on me, it's an unspoken communication between that boy and the driver. But the problem with the driver was he was hesitant because I was in the engine. What they used to do, they will offer that money, and the driver, even if the coal is not completely burned, he will drop the coal. So semi-burned coal will be of some use to that boy.
Yeah.
And most of the stations will have sigris burning with those semi-burned coals. So I tried to look at the other side as if I have not seen anything, but the driver gave an indication, no, not today.
Crazy, really.
It was a quite interesting learning point. And the most important learning point was when to look at the other side. So that the driver doesn't feel embarrassed. So these were the two. And as engine is on the front, there is a special coach at the end, which is called guard's brake van.
जहाँ से वो लोग वो निकालते ना
झंडी दिखाते हैं, झंडी दिखाते हैं. Once I travel, many times I travel in the guard's brake van. So what happens that only one place where a person can sit. So guard is always anyway sitting there. So he has a box on which he will spread a chadar and offer a place of honor to you. Then you can sit there and travel along with the guard. So I was traveling like that to a place called Saharsa, somewhere in North Bihar. Heavily crowded meter gauge train, only 5 coaches, and a good number of persons were on the top of train also.
Oh, chaya.
Yeah. And suddenly I found a bride and groom. Their knots still tight. And the parents requesting guard, in logo ko baitha lijiye. And they must be knowing the guard, because the other Baratis, they can always go on the top of the train. But how bride and groom can go on the top of the train? Like in Lapata Ladies, there was some...
correct. Everyone, all the brides and the grooms with the ghungats and all that as well. Yes.
So it was like that. She was like a bundle. So and then I told, again, the guard was feeling embarrassed. I told him, you permit them. And they came. I thought for a minute, and then I have offered the place of honor to the bride. So
sweet. What a lovely story.
So she came on the box and she invited groom also. And then anyways, I had to leave that particular perch, and I was standing for some time. I had to go only for half an hour. So that was also a very interesting experience. It will always remain etched on my heart.
Lovely.
And the last, we all have inspection carriages as saloons. You must have all heard about it, seen it. So there is a bedroom, there is a small bedroom, and then there is a pantry and a drawing room and things like that.
My God, so grand. Vaibhav, have you traveled in this train salon? I've only heard of it through my mom and all, but I've never really traveled in one.
We like salon is in the last of the train. So you can see the train tracks going below you.
So nice. No, kitna chalega.
We've done that. We've gone to Nashik once. We've done the entire ghat section. Bombay to Nashik, you go there, lots of caves and all that come, no?
Correct.
Feels very nice that you can see you're coming out of the cave and you're leaving the cave behind and you're seeing.
Good, nice feels.
So, badhiya hai. It's quite an experience in itself.
Yeah. So once I traveled with Hema Malini in that.
क्या बात है, directly Hema Malini.
So, and Hema Malini was in her heydays, 90s.
Wow.
Actually, she was invited for a function in Gorakhpur. But then she had to travel from Lucknow to Gorakhpur. So how she will travel? She can't travel in a AC or any normal compartment. She'll be mobbed.
Correct.
So it was decided that she can travel in a saloon, but saloons only normally officers take. So some officer has to escort her. So I was the nominated officer. Saloon was booked for me.
क्या बात है.
And you can always take some guest. So Hema Malini was my guest. It was a 4, 5, 6 hour long journey.
क्या बातें हुई?
But a lot of things. But the more interesting thing was, you must have read about that Lord Emsworth type of novels, that P.G. Woodhouse. So Beach, the butler. We have a VIP catering serving Hema Malini, and we had a waiter called Chirag Ali.
Okay.
He was our senior most waiter, but a perfect stiff upper lip. For him, it never made a difference. It was Hema Malini, or it could have been Madhubala, or it could be anybody. So he will never smile. And he was never feeling in the awe of Hema Malini.
Oh.
Because everybody is with the mouth agape and all that, trying to have word. And Hema Malini was trying to impress that man. It's the first time in her life she got a man who is totally not influenced by her charm. So he served her. And then she had a program in the night. We came back. But again, Hema Malini, again there was a party. That same waiter came. So Hema Malini asked, "Why don't you smile?" And she drew a small caricature of that waiter.
Wow.
And signed a small note. Everybody was hankering for an autograph, but she made a small caricature with an autograph and handed it over to Chirag Ali. So that was a very different experience of traveling.
Correct.
And another experience of traveling in saloon was when we traveled for a very short distance with a thief, or I should call ex-thief.
Ex-thief क्या होता है? कभी thief है तो thief हुआ ना?
He told himself that I am an ex-thief. So what happened that I was traveling from Allahabad to Jabalpur. I was with my wife. And Naini is a very small station. The train was not a regular halt, but stopped at Naini for a minute and started. Then my saloon attendant told that one person is hanging outside and the train has started. So the issue was either to open the door or not to open the door. Because once you don't open the door, chances are he may fall down and he may injure himself. So I said, okay, you open the door and keep him in the area where the attendant's kitchen is there. He came. Then he introduced himself as an ex-thief. So then I was interested to knowing a man.
Correct, I know, curiosity. Huh?
Yeah, I called him. And he has an authentication, like ISO certification and all that. He has a proper authentication of being an ex-thief. Then I realized that Naini is a very famous place for Central Jail, one of the biggest jails of UP.
Acha, okay.
So when the prisoners are released, they are put a stamp on their hand that on particular date this man has been released. So that stamp was there. Means he has paid his dues to society and now he's back into society. And they are given some fare for going back to their house. Otherwise, he will start pilfering again and come back to the same central jail from where he has been released after such a great fanfare. So he showed us that he's no more a thief. He has paid his dues. And then we said, okay, you can travel with us till the next stop, and then you go down and board the general coach. So that was also very thrilling and very different type of experience. Somebody calling him.
Nonsensical qualifications kar rahe. Ex-thief is so much cooler.
Yeah, and he was very cool about that, and he showed with a lot of pride that stamp on his hand.
हम लोग को ऐसे वैसे कहानियां होगा ही नहीं ना हमारे like our corporate career. We won't have such interesting stories at all, no?
Everybody has interesting stories.
I don't think so.
Especially about the bosses.
Those things can't be told in the podcast. No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a
About that,
different
uncle.
story. That itself is a different story.
Yeah, my boss is all.
Rocks. Vaibhav, what are your stories growing up? Traveling with your dad, traveling with your family. Lots of rail stories, I'm sure.
So for me, the biggest thrill of traveling by train was AH Wheeler. Is that
The book.
book? So every place we used to go to, and our parents would always give us money to for books. As in, like there was a quota कि हाँ किताब अगर पढ़नी है तो आपको पैसा मतलब you will get the pocket money and all that. And so AH Wheeler used to मतलब more than the place that we're going to, नानी जी के घर जा रहे हैं कहीं जा रहे हैं वहाँ तो पहुँच ही जाएंगे. But हफ्ते के लिए if you have not bought let's say 3 or 4 comics freshly printed and all that, that used to be the biggest thing. And second thing was that traveling in Shatabdi early morning, having that omelette, which I still do. But if I get a chance to travel with Shatabdi, I try to take the morning circuit and have that. It's not very warm, it's not very cold. The taste is like the porridge in the Goldilocks story. The taste is just right and means you.
There are these train delicacies, like your omelette, the watery soup that comes in the evening.
And that railway cutlet.
Yes.
Cutlet hota hai. For some reason, there are some peas around it and some
Correct.
French fries, which are
Just garnishing, yeah. What MasterChef Australia can put like one mustard sauce time karke, we can put 4 mutter.
So I continued like way in my 30s. I continued this habit of going to the AH Wheeler, and whenever my job permitted me to go by train, there's a particular AH Wheeler. Now, problem is that slightly digressing. The problem perception. So when in 2004 or so, and Papa can correct me on that on the exact circumstances, when Lalu Yadav became the railway minister, he sent out a statement saying that AH Wheeler is a foreign company and we should get it out, and that's why a lot of the stores, the ownership changed, it became something else. To me, essentially, any bookstore in the North India is AH Wheeler. South mein Gotham's and all that hai. AH Wheeler is Bombay tak mein hai, and the entire North it is AH Wheeler.
Even East.
So AH Wheeler, Allahabad at one point of time, Prayagraj now used to be the center of India in many ways, and AH Wheeler came out of Allahabad.
Oh.
There's a particular brand of comics called Raj Comics, which I grew up reading. It's like the true blue Indian comics, our answer to DC and Marvel and all that. That now with internet you can buy it online and all that, but earlier you can only get it at AH Wheeler. So this store at Delhi, Platform 1, I used to always go and ask, Raj Comics se aapke paas kya nahi hai? And Raj Comics is going through some hard times. Like we can do a separate 3-hour conversation on what is happening with Raj Comics.
Oh, really?
It's like 3 brothers fighting with each other for their father's legacy and like full succession in India kind of.
Oh, acha, full on series ban sakta hai.
So I went to the store and I asked him, Raj Comics aapke paas? The guy got angry. He said, "है, but तुमको दिखाएंगे नहीं, तुम हमेशा आते हो, देखते हो और बोलते हो मेरे पास है और मैं चले जाते हो."
My God, he remembered your face and he remembered your story.
And this is like this is like 2 years ago when I was working and I used to go. So I said, no, I will definitely buy. And to prove him wrong, ultimately I ended up buying 2 copies of comics that I already had at home.
Ego man.
So it was just like, it was a young kid, like, and he got very angry. He said, "तुमको नहीं दिखाएंगे, तुम खरीदते नहीं हो." I said, "नहीं खरीदते."
Too good. Yeah. So I used to, whenever my dad used to travel a lot on work, so I used to always tell that when you're coming back, you cannot come back ऐसे खाली हाथ, तुमको लेके आना पड़ेगा मेरे Tinkle, now anyone, like whichever, just pick up one and come. It's a rule.
So the interesting thing with the AH Wheeler was that actually it's a Mr. Tinkodia Banerjee who owned the firm.
Okay.
So AH Wheeler was a Britisher, but ultimately they left India long back, and then he sold it on a very small amount to Tinkodia Banerjee. So for a long time, it is the Banerjees of Allahabad who own the Wheeler. And when I was studying in Allahabad, it was AC Banerjee, Anukul Chand Banerjee, who was and they make sport goods and all that, and they were quite famous for the theatre also.
Oh.
So they staged a lot of plays. So I knew them firstly through theatre, then realized that they are the owners of AH Wheeler. And Kipling, the books were first time published by Wheelers.
Achha.
When I was a student in Gorakhpur, it's very difficult to get books. But on the AH Wheeler those days, I could get Simon de Beauvoir, Bernard Shaw, all the works of Bernard Shaw was available, Japal Sartre, I purchased from H Wheeler.
Wow.
So all type of things were available at the H Wheeler shop. So that was
Wow.
the beauty
Nowadays,
of
it's just the popular ones and all, I would guess. See, Vaibhav, maybe this is like one of your connections between your love for Bengal. You have some crazy love for Calcutta, no? See,
Yeah.
A also has a story for that.
Story for it,
है
correct.
ना?
And for some reason, the train journeys में thrillers पढ़ने बहुत मजा आता है.
Hmm.
So thrillers and like there's a publication called Jaico publication or something, which publishes like anthologies of things that is in public domain. So they will have like 50 great horror stories, 50
Oh.
unsolved mysteries and all that. And it's all very pulpy kind of fiction, like, and you like reading it in the train. That just the atmosphere adds to it. Yeah, so that is it.
Oh, lovely, man. Of train journeys. Railway has like such a nostalgia factor. Paperport did this one advertisement. I don't know if you've seen that or read it, which was all your memories of train journeys out across some 15 or 20 comics they had made about it. So it's great fun, man. It's great fun. So my God, Uncle, I think we can do an entire episode just on, railway journeys across India that we've done in our life. Actually, it's a very interesting episode. Huh?
Yeah.
Yes, fabulous. So, as we take the conversation forward, I had asked Vaibhav that did Uncle listen to your podcast? And a lot of listeners wrote to us after listening to Vaibhav's podcast on Bombay, and there was a couple of them who actually said that I never really liked Bombay earlier, but after listening to this, I'm really curious to go and visit this place. I actually sent a few of these messages to Vaibhav as well. But Vaibhav said, Papa liked the podcast,
but he also added a few places and stories that I missed out during this entire conversation. Uncle, lots of love for Mumbai, huh? How come?
Yeah.
Actually,
I do love Bombay. In my this long career, the maximum time I have stayed was in Bombay, Vadodara, and Lucknow. And so I can see that where the railway journey, my job journey ended, it was the place from where railway journey had started.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, that's so nice.
Seems that the three of us here share this common favorite city wala feeling. But I know that Lucknow is also one of your and Vaibhav's top favorite cities.
So when I spoke to Srivastav uncle about we want to do a podcast with you, uncle. So what place would you like to talk about? So uncle said, what, I focus all my research attention to three things. One is Lucknow, one is Bombay, and one is railways. So I was like fascinated. I mean, he said, so I love reading history. I love going through archives and all of it. But if I don't focus on this, then it'll almost become like a jack of all trades kinds. But uncle likes with the master of just these. So the deep dive karne wale. So then I said, okay, we've done Bombay with your son. So let's do Lucknow but with the promise that at one point we'll actually do story of Indian railways and do a travel on Indian railway kind of episode as well. But you're going to jump into Lucknow and the conversations around Lucknow. I have not been to Lucknow, but I have some very, very close friends who have told me a lot about the city. So whatever I speak about the city is things that I've heard about, or books that I've read, videos that I have seen and things like that. So I do have a lot of questions that I want to ask you guys about Lucknow. But if I'm talking about Lucknow, suppose I am coming to Lucknow for the first time and knowing that I'm a history buff, I love to learn about a place and all of that. How would you tell me to start my tour of Lucknow? So Srivastav Senior and Junior.
Yeah.
Take me to Lucknow.
Yeah. There are 2-3 ways of doing it.
Yes.
There are a lot of niche tourists, like who will come to Lucknow not to look at the monuments, but to learn about the poetry and music.
Wow. Okay.
So they will have different places to go. There are people who are interested in the history part, especially the freedom struggle, 1857 and things like that. So there are tours designed to take them to all those places. And there's a general tourist who comes and ticks the boxes. But the important thing I feel for any city, forget about Lucknow, is never tick the boxes.
Correct.
Because been there, seen that, got a selfie, posted on social media, and then move to the next place. So what I feel, these are the few don'ts about Lucknow. Never tick the box.
बढ़िया है.
Yeah. But for a normal person who would like to combine many things,
Yeah.
I will suggest at least plan 3 days, 2 to 3 days.
Perfect.
So the first day you can start from place called Husainabad, Chowk area.
Okay. Let's go.
Yeah. So where you have got all the imambaras and things like that. But before you venture into that area, a brief history is essential.
Yes.
Why Husainabad? Why Chowk?
You know what in Lucknow, Lucknow's name, the history, all of that. So you can build the entire Lucknow, like the about Lucknow wala part for us.
Correct. Basic question is why a Nawabi culture grew in Lucknow? And the answer lies in the history. Bombay got changed sometime in 19th century. Lucknow came up as an independent city in 18th century. When you look at the 18th century, it was full of turbulence. A very tough period for a student if a question comes from that area.
Dates and days and number of
because you remember all the Mughal emperors. You can remember Babur, Humayun, Akbar, Jahangir, Shah Jahan, Aurangzeb. But after Aurangzeb, between Bahadur Shah Jafar, it becomes a problem.
It gets blurred.
Yeah, they were changing like coalition governments. Like like in 90s, we had a huge number of prime ministers. Changing for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, like that.
In months also, days also.
In months, days also, 13 days.
Yes, really.
So when the Mughal power declined, the number of principalities become independent, almost independent, because the respect for Mughals were there. Hyderabad came in the south, Hyderabad Nizam, Murshidabad in Bengal. Bengal used to be a huge place. The entire Bangladesh was part of Bengal, Bihar, Odisha, and Awadh here. So Saadat Ali Khan was made the Subedar. At the time of Akbar, what we called the Suba, province, state, that structure came. He divided India into 12 Subas, got further extended to 15. So what we know now as UP was divided into 3 Subas, Agra, Awadh, and Allahabad. So you can understand Lucknow only by understanding Awadh, because Lucknow is the center of Awadh. So after the death of Aurangzeb, Muhammad Shah was the king, and he deputed Saadat Khan to Subedar. But everybody else was declaring independence, so he also declared independence. How? He was transferred. Like somebody gets transferred from place A to place B, and he doesn't want to go. He says, "No, I will not go." And he is the country head. He makes an independent country, independent company of that country. So he refused his transfer and almost declared an independence. So that's how Awadh started. Initially, the capital was in Faizabad. In 1775, Asif-ud-Daula brought it back. So with the Akbar, we have the name of Akbari Gate. And all the cuisines are around that Akbari Gate.
Oh, what is Akbari Gate?
Akbari Gate is the name after Akbar. So the concept was there used to be Subedar. So if a Subedar would like to please his boss, do something in his honor. So
Gate bana diya.
And annual performance appraisal reports, those things must have been there. Your grading and promotions.
There's a certain stadium in Ahmedabad which we cannot name, is named in a similar fashion because it has to honor some.
I don't know what you're talking about at all, Vaibhav, by the way. I just have no idea.
It's all right. There are certain things which remain better unknown. Known unknowns. There are known unknowns.
We just do not know kya bol raha hai, Vaibhav.
Yeah, certainly. It's known unknowns. So Jawahar Khan and his deputy, they created a gate in the name. Akbar never visited. But Akbar did a very interesting thing. He funded Brahmins of Lucknow, Vajpayees, 1 lakh rupees for holding yajna. Havan.
Puja, yajna, havan, puja.
Oh, yajna, okay. What type of yajna?
Like they used to do Ashwamedh yajna and Rajshu yajna. So it was called Vajpayees yajna. Vajpayee, must have heard Vajpayee as a surname.
Yeah.
Initially, Vajpayees were those persons who were adept in doing that yajna. So in the honor of Akbar, that yajna was also performed. And a gate also came, Akbari Gate. So when you finished your trip to Imambara, the afternoon should be done for the gastronomic pleasure of Akbari Gate. So I think we can turn our thought to food, then food for thought. So let us listen something about Akbari Gate area, and then I will come back to imambaras. We'll take a sip of water.
Now, while my father takes a water break and he takes a sip of water, I personally don't need water because I am salivating just thinking about all the delicacies that are available in Akbari Gate. So, what Lucknow is known for is Nawabs as well as Kebabs.
Yeah, it's a land of Nawabs and kebabs. That's the biggest
Kebabs.
statement.
And Akbari Gate is the entry point of Chowk, or you can call it the exit point of Chowk, depending on where you're looking for. Chowk is the central area of old Lucknow. And like we'll talk about that in detail also later. Akbari Gate is one of the entries. The other entry is called Gol Darwaza, which is because it's a round gate, it's called Gol Darwaza. Quite literal. But near Akbari Gate is the famous Tunde kebab. And many people have this misconception that Tunde is a type of kebab or Tunde is a recipe of kebab. So Tunde was actually a person. And Tunde is a derogatory term, used for somebody who's got only one hand. So that person is called Tunde. And like in Game of Thrones, the character of Tyrion Lannister, he said that I will own what you throw at me. He said, okay, you're calling me Tunda, I'll make Tunda a brand name. So now, I'll turn the negative into a positive, and I'll make you're making fun of me. I'll ensure your entire generation comes and eats at my place. So Tunde is
for years,
for centuries.
Centuries.
And you can't, there's no signboard. There's nothing that says Tunde kebab because an earlier time, it used to be like, uski dukaan hai, iski dukaan hai. It was like Tunde ki dukaan hai. So even today, there is no signboard in Chowk. There's a signboard inside the store, but there's nothing big, marker. You can only go there by the smell of the kebabs. It's a decently big place. So you get kebab there. And I know you're a vegetarian, Revati, but what you can also get there is sheermal. So sheermal is like a sweet roti kind of thing, like bakar khani you get in Delhi. It's like a version of that. That can be had with kebabs. And, it's like a mix, thoda meetha, khatta, savory type of thing. But that can be had as a dessert on itself.
Okay.
So you from Akbari Gate, you walk inside Chowk.
You don't get soya chap kebabs and all that then. Kya yaar?
Tunde would rather cut his other hand than make soya chap kebab.
You would do that, okay? Tunde might be cool about it.
So yeah,
so you just get one kind of kebab and Tunde.
So and in my history of eating food, I have realized that the menus of places with lesser number of items are better. Like we talk about Pancham Puri wala in Bombay, basically puri sells. So similarly, Tunde kebab has majorly 2 or 3 items in the menu: kebab, paratha, and biryani, and sheermal. So these are the 4 things they sell, and they sell it quite well. And it's very inexpensive, and it has got 1 or 2 official chains, but that is the original authentic place. That if you're interested in eating kebabs, you should definitely go there.
Yeah, so I would like to add something to the sheermal issue. Yeah. Like you, I'm also a vegetarian, and I always feel slightly envious when they go and get a lot of kebabs.
मुझे भी लगता है ये लोग सब करते रहेंगे ना what do I do?
But the sheermal we can eat, the vegetarians. The sheermal started sometime at the time of Ghaziuddin Haidar. So sheermal is the normal fluffy bread with a saffron thing. Now only saffron color is there. So the story is when it was offered to him, so many things were offered to on the royal menu. He only took a bite. So still there is a tradition of eating sheermal with a barfi. And there used to be a type of sheermal with a corner cut. Remembering Ghaziuddin Haidar has taken a morsel out of that sheermal.
Not a nice story. What a nice story. So nostalgia ke liye just like cut off a corner on top.
Correct. So and there is another type of sheermal which is much larger called bakar khani. So that is used only during Muharram or the period of mourning.
Oh. One question. Is this a breakfast thing or is this the lunch dinner kind of
It's a eat when you can, eat how much you can thing. So it's
go there hungry kind of meal.
Yeah. I would recommend going during the winters because you'd feel better. Because in general, you'd feel better. Like anytime the temperature is more suitable.
And you can eat more. In the winter, you can eat more also.
Certain concessions the old shop has made is that it has got a tie-up with some nearby shop which gives thumbs up. So you can have like nice chilled thumbs up while you're having the kebabs.
Nice.
That is, so anybody going to Lucknow, definitely I recommend going to Tunde Kebab.
Mhm.
And actually, the restaurant name is Tunde Kebabi. Like Kebabi is the person who makes kebab, but
Mm,
Tunde
okay.
Kebab. Now, next to that is a place called Rahim's.
Mm.
Again, like one of those no signboard names. If you know it, you know it. Those
Okay.
places. So Rahim's is famous for nihari.
Mm.
Nihari is majorly, while it's available throughout the year now, but majorly it used to be a food eaten during Ramzan, early in the morning. So nihari is cooked overnight, and there is a concept in Ramzan during Roza of Sehri, which is
Yes.
basically before you, it's like reverse of breaking a fast. Like before you stop eating everything, you eat something, substantial.
Which
So
will
nihari
keep you satiated through the
for
daytime.
throughout the day. So nihari's got loads of fat, loads of oil, protein, very tasty. Like nutrients aside, it's very tasty. And nihari is Rahim sells nihari traditionally with kulcha. It's not the kulcha that you imagine in Delhi or in Punjab. It's a very different kulcha, more fluffy. So bang entering into Chowk from Akbari Gate, you have these two great eating points. Again, while nihari is a breakfast thing, it's available throughout the day. So any point of
Okay.
time, you can go there and you can.
And is nihari available mainly during the
No, now it's available
Ramzan
throughout.
time?
Now
Oh,
it's available throughout the year. But the origin of, or like not the origin, like the major reason for people making nihari was that it's cooked overnight, so you have it early in the morning. It is,
Okay.
but I would recommend it as a breakfast thing. That if you're
Got
going
it.
there, you should have it as a breakfast thing.
Got it.
And from in general, Chowk is an area which I think Papa will talk about more in how why traders are there so much. So any place you go, there'll be some small shop selling samosa. There'll be some chaat shop. While these two are the named stores, and but you can go to any place in Chowk and get good, nice vegetarian food also. Like there are small halwai stores, which in the winters will be selling kale gajar ka halwa and rabdi and khoa and all those things. And in general, the food quality there is quite good. And I think because
And biryani also is somewhere close by. That is Idris.
Idris biryani. It is outside the walled area of Chowk. Like Chowk in itself is like a small city. So Idris is outside the walled area of Chowk.
Idris
Is the name of a person again.
Okay.
So Idris is the name of person. Again, I think more than 100-year-old.
Yeah,
and-
everything in Lucknow is more than 100 years, 150 years.
And here's something slightly controversial. And I think I've heard a YouTube video where he himself says this. He says that what I make is not biryani. He says what I make is yakhni pulao. Now the difference here is that in biryani, there's a style that you layer rice and meat and then you cook it.
Yeah.
The difference here is how they cook the rice. They cook the rice in the stock of the meat. So they take the stock or the broth of the meat and then they first cook the rice in that and then they add the mutton and then they cook it all together. So the rice has got a flavor of the broth. So that's why it's not a biryani, it's a pulao.
मैं
But
हमेशा बोलती हूँ कि तुम बिरयानी पुलाव बिरयानी करते हो तुम लोग वो नॉन-वेज even non-vegetarians agree पुलाव होता है.
people in Lucknow very proudly say that it is called yakhni pulao. It's a very poetic name, yakhni.
Yeah.
Sounds very like a morsel in your mouth. And in front of it, so how to come to Idris biryani is through the route of history, and which I ask my father if he can talk more about that, because the landmark for Idris biryani is a place called Farangi Mahal.
Okay.
So Farangi Mahal is a landmark. You can just Google Farangi Mahal and in front of that is Idris. So Farangi Mahal is something very interesting which Papa can talk about.
बोलिए. Over to you, uncle. Time for history lesson.
Farangi Mahal said, the trading part of Lucknow. There was a traveler who came in 1631 and he called Lucknow as a magnum emporium. Like an emporium, objects come from different places. They are showed and people come and purchase. So Lucknow was the place where objects will come from all over the places and they'll be traded here. The traders in the Farangi Mahal, they were asked to purchase 70,000 rupees worth sugar and meal. Indigo. Because indigo farming was rampant at that time. East India Company was forcing people to and Mahatma Gandhi started with indigo. Right now indigo means aircraft and a very, very different type of service.
Let's not go there.
Yeah. So indigo means Neil. What happened during the World War? Chemical formula came for making blue color and the indigo vanished. So Farangi Mahal was basically a trading outpost. Then the lease expired, they left, the house was there. And there was some cleric whose house somebody was killed. Aurangzeb allotted that house to that family. And it's a place for learning. It set up the syllabus for a lot of courses right into 18th and 19th century. But it has
Almost
very
like a
important.
university, jaise.
Yeah, it's like university only, small place, like a university. The authority in theology. You can do a wiki and you can get a lot of information, some information at least. But the more important, the way we enjoyed, I and Vaibhav and we all went to Farangi Mahal, association with Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi used to come and stay there. If any student of Indian history will remember the non-cooperation movement and Khilafat movement for short note questions. So for the part of Khilafat movement, Mr. Abdul Bari was a very important person. And Gandhi ji used to do a lot of correspondence with Abdul Bari. If you go to Farangi Mahal, the small courtyard, there are some charpais and takht and things like that. And the memorabilia of Mahatma Gandhi is kept there.
Oh.
Letter written by him, telegrams sent by him. And it
Like
was
a museum, jaise.
like a museum. And no fees, you go there, enter there, look at it and come back. The wooden sandals of Mahatma Gandhi, all those things are there.
And it's still used as a house, so it's not even a museum. There are people still living there who don't mind if you're coming and looking at their courtyard, because they have also, preserved the history there.
They are
Like-
descendants of this person who was
First,
given the
yeah.
house to Aurangzeb.
Yeah. And there's still an active academic center.
Oh.
And that Sanad of Aurangzeb is still shown.
The decree, Sanad, the decree.
Decree type of thing.
Okay.
Allotting that house to them, a long-term lease type of thing. And the people, the disciple of Farangi Mahal are called Farangi Mahali.
Okay.
And it's still a very respected place in Lucknow, Farangi Mahal. It's a part of Chowk.
Oh, it's like the place looks like a heritage, old, antique.
Yes.
Yeah, like
a lot of new structures have also come, but
Hmm.
you can get a feel of Farangi Mahal.
Fantastic. Wow.
So now let me take you back to Muharrams and imambaras.
Okay.
The problem with the Lucknow or the normal concept of Lucknow is you go to Lucknow, first it is a Nawabon ka shahar. That is the tagline.
Correct, it is.
So we'll write on the social media, I'm in Nawabon ka shahar and keep smiling and things like that. And people will be go gaga over. Second thing, you do three things. You watch imambara, you eat kebab, and you purchase chicken.
Yes.
These are the three things. They are the done things. But the sad part is, most of people who visit Lucknow, they go to Imambara, Bada Imambara, they feel, Wakai Bada hai, and they are not even able to realize what is Imambara. Because the query should start, first of all, what the Imambara means.
Yes. Why was it built? What does it mean? Yes.
And what is the purpose of
Purpose
Imambara?
behind it? Yes, please.
So before moving to the architectural monuments of Lucknow and Bada Imambara, Chota Imambara, there is a Kala Imambara. There are all types of imambaras. We should know what is imambara.
Yes.
Because I feel the concept should be clear. Because unless I know what is imambara, I go there and get a selfie and post it. Doesn't make any sense.
Correct.
So first of all, what is imambara? Simple. Bada is a name for house. Bengal also, a lot of people use badi, bada for house. So it is the house of imam. And for the Shias, imam basically means Ali, Hassan, Hussain. Those were the main leaders of their sect. And there what they do in Imambara, they organize a majlis. A lot of people come and sit together. That's called majlis.
Got it.
The purpose of majlis is mourning.
Which is also the purpose of Muharram, right?
Yeah. What is the Muharram? Muharram again has changed the meaning. Muharram actually only means the first month of Islamic calendar. Now, it has been restricted into meaning of that commemoration. Everybody says Muharram means somebody is in the morning, Matmi Surat bana rakhi, kya Muharram ki tarah, Muharrami chehra bana rakha hai, things like that. So the first 10 days of month of Muharram, they are spent to commemorate Battle of Karbala, which was fought in 680 AD. And basically, it was a battle of succession. After Prophet Muhammad passed away, they did 2 schools. And that battle, Hassan, Hussain, or Ali, they all martyred, 72 of them. And people say it has a link with Dandi Yatra, Mahatma Gandhi.
Oh.
Gandhi also took 72 persons, like Ali has 72 persons with him. So that battle of Karbala is mourned. Now again, why imambaras are in Lucknow? Why they are not in Delhi? Delhi was the capital of Mughal for a long time. Because this veneration of Imam Hassan Hussain Ali is done mostly by Shias. And Lucknow was the only place in India where Shias ruled for a long time. And if you look globally, it's Iran.
Okay.
And when the earlier king of Iran used to come, Persia, he will always come to Lucknow. And the dynasty of Nawabs, they came from a place called Nishapur in Iran.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Iran kidhar hai aur ye kidhar hai?
Actually, there used to be a battle in the court called Irani Turani.
Okay.
Turanis were Central Asian Sunnis from Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, like that. And Iranis were Persians. So there was a battle which used to be known in history as Irani Turani.
Yeah.
So coming back to imambaras, there's one small thing I would like to say. We must remember only one word, aza. What the word aza means. Aza means mourning of death. Now from this word of aza, a lot of words have come. Like tazia. Tazia, it's a replica of a tomb.
That's
Then
what
there
they
is
carry in during the Muharram, right?
Yeah, that's
So,
the tomb of Ali, tomb of Hassan Hussain, Tazia. Then imambaras are actually aza khana, the place where you do the mourning, you pay the condolence. And the act of doing it becomes azadari.
Okay.
And those who are doing it becomes azadar. And during the period of Muharram, it is not only in the imambara. A lot of people make aza khana right in their house. One part of house is separated, segregated, cleaned, and kept for azadari. And a lot of Hindus also do it.
Very interesting. Wow.
So this azadari and making a part of house, like we do, Ganesh Chaturthi and all, Durga Puja, goddess comes to our house.
Correct.
So like azadari is like that.
But this is a word that is used very frequently, azadari or azakhana.
Yeah, yes.
Oh.
Very interesting.
Yeah, because when you are coming to Lucknow, you should know that what the imambara basically, what is the purpose.
Yes.
So why the huge imambaras were meant, so that huge congregation can assemble there and mourn the death of Hassan Hussain and mourn the battle of Karbala. So when you enter the imambara, the main area, what is known as imambara, is a huge place. There's a gate, there's lawn, there are multiple halls. But the main hall will have three major areas. One area is called Shah Nashin. It's a raised pulpit, on which tazia and other relics are kept, so that you can go bow your head and show your respect to those venerable things. That is Shah Nashin. And there is a ladder-like thing, which is called mimbar, not member, mimbar.
Okay.
The purpose of mimbar is the preacher. So suppose there are only two listeners, he'll be on the lowest ladder.
Oh.
And huge congregation, he keeps on going up and up and up.
Oh, so that he's seen and heard by the entire congregation.
Yes. He's also seen and also heard.
Yes, nice.
So that was the purpose of member. So, and then there's a hall where the azadars sit. So during those 10 days of Muharram, a lot of gathering takes place. Marsiyas, which are ballad songs, they are recited. Noha Kwani, you can listen on YouTube, beautiful nohas. They are the very mournful songs remembering the people who died during Muharram.
Wow.
Who sacrificed their life. It was like remembering a failed battle, like Abhimanyu. In the entire Mahabharata, the only battle Pandavas lost was Abhimanyu.
Yeah.
And the only battle we remember is Abhimanyu. Charge the Flight Brigade, that famous poetry. Again, lost battle, but the valor, the strength, the way they fought. Similarly, Battle of Karbala. So there are three aspects I would like everybody to learn about imambara. One is the religious significance. Second is the historic significance. And third is the architectural significance. So religious significance I just discussed with you.
Yeah.
The second, the Bada Imambara is the biggest thing. It is the second biggest imambara in the entire world. The imambaras are across the world. The names differ. Like in South India, they are called as Husainiya. And Dhaka imambara is known as Hussain Dalan. There is an imambara in Srinagar, 1518. That old imambara. All over. where the Shias are there. So that is the religious part.
Hmm.
The architectural part of Bada Imambara. Now
Hmm.
we have to segregate between different Imambaras. The Bada Imambara is, first of all, it's an Imambara with a large hall without any beam. It's a structural marvel.
Wow.
And how it could have been designed? So they are not walls, there are arches.
Okay.
And all those arches, there's a point of contact. And on that, a vault-shaped structure is made. So there is no use of iron, there is no use of beam, and there is not even a touch of European architecture.
Imagine, let's say you
Like-
cut bangles in half.
Okay.
You keep all the bangles together. It forms a arch, and it's a connection of.
like you have arch bridges.
Hmm.
Imagine an infinite number of arches.
Hmm.
So it's like a tunnel, but it's like a hall bit like a tunnel. Hence, there is no.
Wow.
Hmm.
We have to put up pictures of this, for our listeners to actually visually understand the whole thing. So we will do that.
Yeah, I can share that picture.
Oh.
So it's actually a vault, not roof. It's a vault type of structure.
Yeah.
Got it.
So that is a very important architecture. Now, what the common man feels, it is a bhulbulaiya. It's properly
It is
known
called a
as a maze.
bhulbulaiya, nahi?
Yeah, they call it. There's series of pictures on bhulbulaiya, Pradarshan and all. Everybody changing everybody.
Correct.
So that bhulbulaiya is an accidental architecture. The
Okay.
need was that there should be very little load on the roof because there are no beams, no iron, no steel. So they made a lot of hollow structures on the first floor. And that led to a place where there are a lot of small hollows. And you feel you can play hide and seek in that area.
You get lost?
And then there are guides who
Then
charge
there are guides.
heavy amount of money. So anybody who goes to Bada Imambara, the only desire is to go to Bulbulaiya on the top.
It is
They
like
miss-
the most popular thing, right? You go and you actually can get lost there, vagara.
Yeah, but certainly that's the whole function of maze and how the guide can earn money if you are not getting lost.
Hai na? Why not? Correct.
Yeah. So you are adding to GDP of our country.
Very nice.
So that is a very important part of architecture. And the walls are 16 feet thick. You can imagine 16 feet, there will be 1 BHK. Somebody will sell a house.
बॉम्बे वाले तो हाँ ही बोल देंगे.
Bombay वाला बोल देगा 16 feet
हाँ.
ठीक है. So 16 feet is the thickness of wall. The purpose is congregation में जो आवाज हो रही है, it should be soundproofing.
Oh.
And then weather, environment.
Hmm.
No impact of heat inside.
क्या बात है. Wow. And summers are pretty harsh in Lucknow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Wow.
So that is the architecture of Bada Imambara. So it's a worth looking place apart from the grandeur side and then the history.
Yeah.
Asfudullah came in 1775 and he had to do something really magnificent to prove that now he is the king and now a new Nawabi culture is growing. He had no battle to fight because all over East India Company people were there. So he spent a lot of money is building these
There
structures.
is some story about, people building it in the morning and then at night
That's a very
one
nice
third of
story.
it will be.
Yeah.
वो fiscal deficit concept था that he's spending to मतलब make the economy better.
That's a
होता
very
है
nice
क्या?
story. Unfortunately, almost untrue.
These
Yeah,
are all
but
Bollywood kind of references.
Yeah. I met somebody who's really good historian.
Hmm.
He told me he debunked it and everybody criticized him because on that guides earned their money. And his objection was कि day night cricket match तो हो नहीं रहा है. From where the light will come for working in the night time. So when I looked,
But कहानी अच्छा है.
when I looked into the gazetteer, from where the story started, there has to be some source, no? The gazetteer of 1877, it says when it was built, of course it was built only during daytime, but the rich persons are more sharif people. They were not paid during daytime. Because how you pay the labor, you call their name, that man comes, put on some impression and you pay. You would not like to call his name. So he will come after the sunset when normal workers have gone and collect his salary in the night time.
So वहां से the story of this daytime building and nighttime destroying wala jo hai came around.
Yeah.
Ah,
And the architect of this was Kafidullah. and he has been honored in a very unique way.
Hmm.
All the imambaras are also mausoleums. They're burial places.
Hmm.
So Asifullah is buried there, and next to him is the grave of Kafitullah, the architect. Next to the king.
Oh, wow. That's such an honor.
Yeah.
That's very nice.
The mausoleum doesn't contain his wife or mother or something. And the equally important imambara is Chota Imambara.
Hmm.
But much more beautiful. Chota Imambara, close by from Bada Imambara.
Hmm.
And again works as a mausoleum. The king who made is buried, because everybody remembers only two kings, Asfudullah and Vaid Ali Shah.
Hmm.
So you'll have to relate him with him. So he was the grandfather of Vaid Ali Shah.
Okay.
That was the Muhammad Ali Shah.
Hmm.
He got the Chota Imambara. Chota Imambara, in the British tourist literature, it is called Palace of Lights.
Oh, wow. Because
there's beautiful Belgian chandeliers.
so grand.
And still you get a lot of chandeliers and a lot of lamps, crystal glass lamps. Now you get a crystal glass and you feel what a great thing.
Yeah.
So there were a huge number of crystal glass lamps and chandeliers, and they were all lit.
Still preserved well, huh?
Still, there are a lot of them are still there. And during the period of mourning, Muharram, the whole place is lit.
Wow. Mm.
And this Chota Imambara has a very different type of calligraphy, and it has 5 doors.
Okay.
The good number of Imambaras have 5 doors. Why 5 doors? Panchatan. There is a sign of Panja. If you go to any Imambara or any Shia pilgrim place, there is a Panja. Even in the procession, you can see a Panja.
What is Punjab?
Panja is Panchatan, 5 great persons for them.
Okay.
It starts with the Prophet, Hazrat Muhammad, wife of Prophet, daughter of Prophet, and son-in-law of prophets.
Okay.
The Hassan and Hussein. These 5. So 5 doors to remember them. So that is a Chota Imambara. That is a Husainabad area. And there are other small things like you are in the Husainabad right now. The background is Husainabad.
Nice.
And for our listeners, our video call I have this virtual background of Lucknow. So uncle here is referring to the monuments visible in this background photo that I have kept.
And the backdrop is a clock tower. Clock tower came after Nawabi period sometime in 1880s. It was the tallest clock tower at that time. Yeah, in India. Okay. And it follows a design very, very different, Morocco.
Oh.
It's a Moor architecture. And there is Satkhanda, which is supposed to be 7 stories, only 4 stories are there. So there are a number of buildings in that area. So spend half a day and start with the Tilewali Masjid.
When you're going from Bada Imambara to Chota Imambara, we have to cross the Darwaja.
Rumi Darwaza.
Okay.
So if you look, actually there is a complex called Asifi complex. So Asifi complex has 4 or 5 things. One is the Rumi Darwaza, linked with the Eastern Byzantine Empire. So the Eastern Byzantine Empire was called Rum. There is supposed to be a gate. It's again a story like that Bada Imambara thing.
So I've read about this, that the Rumi Darwaza in Lucknow is modeled on a similar looking gate in Istanbul.
Yeah, and that gate was quite famous in Istanbul. So that from where the word called Rumi Darwaza. It's a huge gate, and this is the monument. Every memento, every sign of Lucknow will have Rumi gate.
It's almost like the symbol of Lucknow. Like for example, India Gate and Lal Killa of Qutub Minar, Delhi, or Gate of India, symbol of Bombay. Even the Lucknow Metro, the symbol of Lucknow Metro is like a approximation of the Rumi Darwaja. And it's a grand gate, as in like it's basically, if you have to help you imagine, it's like you make a gate on a almost like 80-100 feet road. People still live there. So even today there are people who would hide and they're living in the nooks and crannies. Unfortunate for them, they don't have a house and they're living there. But it is so huge that it houses families still today. So there's quarters who are living there.
Yeah. So it's a building. It's not just a gate.
Yeah. It's like a small tunnel. Like from one side you enter, from the other side you get out. Because it's a structure which is beautifully made. So it's got nooks and crannies and it's got pillars and so like that. A good
closest approximation can be Buland Darwaza.
Buland Darwaza.
Much better, much beautifully carved than Buland Darwaza, the Rumi gate.
Imagine if Gateway of India was on a road. Because Rumi Darwaza is used even today. It's an active road connecting the two.
People go inside, go through the Rumi Darwaza.
Oh,
So Rumi Darwaza, Bada Imambara are known as Asfi Imambara. Then there is a Bawli, step well.
Oh.
Inside that Asfi complex, and there is the Asfi Mosque. So these are the 4 or 5 buildings which complete the Bada Imambara complex. And the palace where it's now totally in ruins, where the Asfatullah used to live, was Daulat Khana and Sheesh Mahal.
Wow. This area is called is it the heritage area?
Heritage area. It's called the heritage area, but its official name jo hai wo Asafi area because of Asafuddaula.
Oh. He is supposed to be like a very
generous Nawab.
Generous person. There are these.
Supposed to be very generous, very fond of wine and chicken fights and all that. Like I imagine, like we've seen Wajid Ali Shah in Shatranj Khiladi, but I also imagine that if somebody had to play Asafuddaula, it should have been Amjad Khan. You know, that big, round, grand kind of.
There is this saying,
Jisko na de Mola, usko de Asafuddaula.
Yes. Wow. The Chota Imambaras, does it have a name? Like
Chota Imambara, we also called it the Husainabad Imambara.
Okay.
But because of size, people compare Bada Imambara, Chota Imambara. But the proper name for Bada Imambara is Asfi Imambara. Asfatullah made it. And it's located in Husainabad area, so we call it Husainabad.
The Chota Imambara has something like a Taj Mahal inside it. Karke maine padha.
Yeah, you are absolutely correct. And if you are taught by some interesting guide, he will tell you the entire European architecture in that area. He will take you to gate and so look at the Pisa Minar and look at the Big Ben and Taj Mahal. The Taj Mahal-like structure.
Everyone wants to go global. My God.
It's nothing compared to Taj Mahal.
Wow.
Right in the front of Chota Imambara is again a small structure, beautiful structure. It's for the daughter of Muhammad Shah. She died in very young age and she is buried there.
Oh. Those 2 structures that you said are now completely in ruins. Sheesh Mahal वगैरह जो आपने बोला है.
Sheesh Mahal and Daulat Khana, yeah.
Sheesh
Mahal is still there, and a friend of mine, I know him, is a Nawab who still lives there.
Oh.
And some trip advisor type of things, people they offer you can have a dinner for so many rupees with Nawab and all.
Oh, achha,
so
wow.
that type of thing also
That
happens.
you can have if you want to.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Very nice. So this whole thing, all of it, अगर हमको अच्छे से cover करना है, आधे दिन में हो जाएगा, right?
Correct. Half day here, and then you will become very hungry, and then you go to Tunde Kebab and Idris Biryani and Rahim and if you are vegetarian, you can have a Kasta Kachori and things like that. And your Malai Makhan, if it is a winter morning time. So a lot of for vegetarian also a lot of good eateries in that area.
Just before that, I'll just add a tip for your listeners. Bada Imambara, Chota Imambara, both are ASI monuments. Please buy a ticket in advance. You will enjoy it much more. You will not spend the time in the queue. Secondly, from there, going to Chowk is not very far off. You can take a rickshaw. You can enjoy the rickshaw ride going to Chowk. If you're going in the winters, you will get in the early morning a dish called Makhan Malai. Now, Makhan Malai has got 2 cousins. One is a Delhi wale cousin and one is a Banaras wale cousin.
Okay.
In Hindi, we always name our relatives after the place. So I always had a Banaras wali bua, Lucknow wali bua.
Correct. We also do that.
So basically, there is a thing called Daulat ki chaat in Delhi. There's Malayo in Banaras and there's Makhan Malai. Traditionally, all these sweets are served early morning of the winters. The mode of preparation is that they are kept out in the open, and the os, the dew, is what makes them. It's like a souffle. It's actually lighter than air, and it's melt in the mouth. You take a scoop of it, you get a flavor, and it disappears. It's like eating os in a dessert form. So,
oh my God.
So this is for Makhan Malai. The only pitfall again for listeners. The Makhan Malai is supposed to have only early morning. That's the authentic Makhan Malai. उसके बाद लोग उसको फ्रिज में रख के उसके बर्फ के सिल्ली रख के वो सब करते. That is all
fraud.
Fake, fraud. So you can get Makhan Malai throughout the day, but that's not the Makhan Malai that you should have. Secondly, another interesting thing is that there is a thing in Lucknow that you get Kashmiri chai. Okay. So there were a lot of Kashmiri. I'm assuming workers or migrants who used to live in Chowk area, which is, like we told, it's a trading area.
There is a Kashmiri Mohalla also.
There's a Kashmiri
in the Chowk area, there is a Kashmiri Mohalla.
So Kashmiri chai is pink tea. It's pink.
It's salty wala.
Slightly salty, pink, looks weird, tastes weird, but I would advise once in your life, and there are people who are fans of it. I'm not
sure.
disparaging it, but it is something very interesting, very different that you can try out. And plus
Good weird बुलाते हैं इसको.
good weird, and plus Kashmiri chai in the middle of Lucknow, who can imagine the connection?
Yeah, correct.
So that is that's another vegetarian thing. So chalk, just to while we said we should not tick off, but just to tick off the boxes: tunde kababi, nihari, Idris ki biryani, any random chaat shop inside chalk for chaat.
Which chaat? Like, is there some Lucknowi chaats which are?
Yeah, but chaat, I think you have to come to Hazratganj, that area.
We'll
Okay,
come.
we'll do Hazratganj.
We'll do Hazrat.
Okay, we'll stick to chalk right now.
Yeah.
This is
And chaat anyway is the evening time. So the day after such a long walk, you have to take all these things.
Yeah, we have to, right? The legendary pan of Lucknow.
Not so much. The pan is more Banaras.
Okay.
So Lucknow is more nazakhat and nafasat. Pan slightly more rustic.
Oh, we have to talk about your nazakhat and all of that of Lucknow, right?
Yeah.
Aap, hum, and all of that. Yeah, we have to
Hum
do
and aap both. Hum and aap. Even if you're telling something bad, you say aap अच्छे इंसान नहीं है. Like that.
Like respectfully look down on people like that. Huh?
आप गुस्ताखी माफ करिएगा, but आपने जो किया वो सही नहीं किया.
Oh God, the sentence sounds so good, so good. So tell me, nazakhat, like how you're talking about, what are few really popular words or phrases used in Lucknow?
Again, Papa is much better in this, but again, because I'm the food expert, nosh farmaiye. So to eat something is called, or to try something is called nosh farmaiye. So nosh farmana is like, inviting somebody for dinner. You say, aap nosh farmaiye.
Oh.
And secondly, the word Dastarkhan in itself. Dastarkhan is a popular chain in Lucknow. In Dastarkhan, you would have heard the song Dil Ka Dastarkhan. Dastarkhan literally means a spread of food. So calling it a spread of food versus calling it Dastarkhan sounds more...
way better. I think if
actually the Dastarkhan thing is the way the old Muslim families used to eat. Even the Voras. A big thal comes.
Plate mein na, haan.
Correct. In the big thal, food comes. It is spread on a table mat. And everybody partakes a meal.
Yeah, it's a nice family like feel that way, right? So chalk mein you mentioned Idris and tunde kababi and the chai and all that. Tell us something more about the place as well.
Like I told you, chalk is like a walled city in a way. It's like a big, it's like a small city inside a big city. Farangi Mahal is in one corner. जहाँ पे आप सामने आपको इद्रिस की बिरयानी आपको मिलती है. And from Farangi Mahal you can actually enter into chalk. So basically there are many lanes, and don't get worried about getting lost in the lanes, because that is the fun part of it. Once I was in Venice, and the guide told me that the best way to see Venice is to get lost. I think that holds true for a lot of Indian cities. You enter chalk and you should get lost, and you will see a random chai ki tapri somewhere selling, thick milk wali chai, badhiya. The thing is that what I've realized is most traders or most shopkeepers, they like to have things which are, good to eat and good to keep around. And like my father mentioned, like there are a lot of trading community or a shopkeeper community that lives there. So chalk, apart from eating, is the best place for you to do thrift shopping.
Oh, my kind of thing.
Yeah. So while you will have your high streets with, malls and everything. So Lucknow is known for, apart from the food, it is known for chicken. Now, chicken to a vegetarian might also sound like a food.
Well, let's focus on the spelling.
Yeah. If you tell somebody we are going to Seva Chicken, it's one of the stores, Seva Chicken. If that person is non-vegetarian, they might actually get hungry, and reaching there, we'll see it as something else. So chicken is a type of cloth that is very popular in Lucknow. And while there are many theories on why it is called chicken, I believe it is about smoothness. That is my theory.
Oh,
it is
chikna and chicken. Oh.
Yeah, but that is caveat. This is my theory. I'm not sure.
Nice theory. I like the story.
And it is basically embroidery, which is white on white, and multiple ways of embroidery. So if you're good at bargaining, and if you want to shop, you should definitely go deep into chalk in the lanes. You'll find some stores. And it's all like factory outlets, because chalk is where it is getting made also. So there are small stores like karigars and all which are working there, and you can see them working inside, and in the front area is the store. So one is that you can get good chicken ka kurta, like multiple stores there where you can go and buy. Then you also get chandi ki jewelry. So chandi ki jewelry is very popular there, and it is in many rituals and all that, there is a specific use. There are different shapes. Basically, like there's like a small juti which is there, which you can go and buy. Again, while Chandi has got a fixed rate, but there is some element of leeway in bargaining there. The work
Making
is, charges, making charges and
all that, yeah.
come again and promises to add more customers. And Revati, you can say that, it is my podcast. Tomorrow I'll mention you in my podcast. You'll get more and more people coming.
Oh, nice. Discount code dal denge.
Yeah. And there's a lot of cloth work that happens. There's like block printing. And if you just do some exploration, you can actually see the block printing happening in front of you.
Oh, wow.
There'll be people sitting there with, different designs and all that. It is a beautiful process. Possibly for your blog, I will send across a few photographs of this block printing happening in Karig. And it is a maze. You will get amazed in this maze because it's a narrow gully. Like my Papa mentioned about Farangi Mahal. It's a narrow gully which leads you there. But once you're inside, it is a huge courtyard. There, I don't know how many people are living there, how many people are working there. So I don't know how many people are actually inside chalk, and possibly that is why Britishers were never able to conquer chalk completely because they didn't know. Apart from this, there's a very romantic element to chalk. Apart from the shopping, and there are normal like loads and loads of jewelry stores. So chalk is where, like Chandni Chowk in Delhi, chalk is where you will go for wedding shopping. Now, I would also want to draw your attention to smells. While there is the smell of tunde kababi, there is the smell of rahim, there is the smell of general hustle bustle, there is the smell of kachodis being made, halwai ki dukane hain, sab kuch hai. There is also the smell of perfume.
Lucknow, Lucknow ittar, right?
Yeah. So Lucknow is a city of perfumes, and basically there's a place near Lucknow called Kannauj. Kannauj is famous for distilling, the essence from different things, majorly flowers and other things. And there is a connection of Kannauj to Lahore as well. That like Lahore also used to have loads and loads of perfume stores, and there's a Netflix series that is about Hira Mandi. There's a perfume area that used to be there. All the perfume used to come from Kannauj. It used to be all Punjabis selling there. So Kannauj is very popular for perfumes, and Lucknow was the outlet when you had to sell perfume. The difference is that because of the Muslim population, the perfumes were made without alcohol. So normally in most of the world, perfumes are alcohol as a solvent. And I know this very deeply because I'm currently in the business of making perfumes. So I know.
A slight plug-in for Fast Track and Titan and all of it.
Yes, Fast Track perfumes. So the alcohol part. So this is called attar, which is made without alcohol, which is basically just essence. When you go to this store, they will make you smell the essence. From the essence, they will make the perfume in a bottle and give it to you. There's one particular store that I would like to draw your attention to. It's called Izhar Sons. They get all their perfumes from Kannauj. There are many stores, but Izhar Sons is one major store. So the person that we met when Papa and I went to Izhar Sons, he had a share shayari for every perfume. And he was also making shares on the spot, if what I feel like, very spontaneous, extempore.
Talent.
The beauty of each perfume, the beauty of each smell was told in the form of shayari. And the most special type of perfume that was available there, and it is the signature of Lucknow, is that a lot of India is a dry country. For us, rains are something which are literally heaven sent. We love when the rains come, but the rains are there only for a short duration. What if you could capture the essence of rain in a bottle and sell it throughout the year? So it smells, I think it is pronounced petrichor. That shop sells the smell of petrichor in a bottle. So you can carry the smell of fresh rain hitting the earth and releasing those scents. So that I found to be the most beautiful thing about.
It's beautiful. You know what, Vaibhav? We had recorded an episode, or rather we have an episode on Hyderabad, which we released towards the end of last year. And there our guest mentioned about the same ittar, the smell of the petrichor in a bottle in one of the shops in Hyderabad near the Charminar area. And at the end of it, he said, I wish that, they also had the smell of old books also captured in a little bottle. That would be so lovely, right? And that conversation came rushing back. I mean, what a connection between Lucknow and Hyderabad also, right? Again, I'm sure there'll be some roots from Lahore as well for that.
Yeah. The additional thing is that, Lucknow and food go hand in hand. They also have an ittar which smells like biryani. And they sell. So, and because biryani mein kimam padta hai, saffron padta hai.
Correct.
खुशबू उसकी जो आती है. So this sell the smell, sell a scent which smells like it is biryani. If you are feeling hungry, you have tinda, घर पे tinda बना हुआ है, you spray biryani वाला perfume nearby, and you feel that you are, instead of eating.
It'll build your appetite, man.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool tidbit.
Okay.
Nice.
Before that, let me add something about the perfume part.
Sure.
Yeah. So the most famous shop of perfume, Asghar Ali, Muhammad Ali, and now the shop is no longer, came sometime in 1839, 1830s, 1840s. They came from Kannauj, as Vaibhav told you. And the shop was known as Hina Building. The factory was also there, so right on the shop, very close to Akbari Gate. And they say when the building was demolished, there was a fragrance of Hina in that building itself.
Yeah. So this is basically chalk, and inside, again, without a map, just go around, you will see that there are many temples, which are huge temples inside the gullies. So you can go visit them. There is no end to the number of things that you will come across in chalk. We have tried to touch upon the major ones that are there.
Very nice, very nice. So I like it. It's a mix of so many things: food, shopping, perfumes, colors, so many things. Very nice.
There's an interesting story. I think we will end the chalk segment with, I'll ask Papa if he can tell the story about the clod of earth before we leave chalk.
Yeah. Now the clod of earth, what he had mentioned, again happened in the Husainabad area. And you can see the beginning of the first whispers of 1857, mutiny.
Oh.
What happened, that Henry Lawrence, he was the chief commissioner. It was in April, probably 18th April. Mutiny was quite far at that time. It happened on 10th May in Meerut. But he was going along with two senior officers and a boy. He threw a clod of earth on him just to show that what is the anger and what is the disappointment and disaffection. And the chief commissioner, the head, is like something like a prime minister for that particular area. And he wrote it on a letter to Governor General that this thing has happened. And I'm very sure that there is a huge disaffection and something is going to happen.
Oh.
Those first rumblings of 1857 would have been felt in that clod of. And from that, I think he can take you to Hazratganj, and then I can pick up something to add about Hazratganj.
Imagine the bravery of that young kid.
Yeah.
Who's throwing a clod of earth at an empire. He's not throwing at the commissioner. He's throwing a clod of earth at the British Empire. And
he's like as important as the prime minister for that region. Wow.
Yeah. He was the head. And after that, when the mutiny started, sometime early May, they put a scaffolding for hanging persons right in that area. Permanent scaffolding, where every day somebody will be hanged.
Oh.
And the cannons were put. Things like that. In that atmosphere of fear, somebody was able to do that.
What times, really?
So now your evening chart, I think time has come for the evening chart.
Yeah. A slightly macabre turn towards from hanging to chart.
Sudden turn, correct.
Yeah.
Dark humor as excuse, then from hanging we go to hanging out. So we go to the
So that is a little smoother turn.
Yeah. Correct.
So,
Correct.
Hazratganj. What do I say about Hazratganj?
Gunging, that's all I have heard about.
Gunjing. So this is a term in Lucknow which people used to, Hazratganj is, and I have Papa here to correct me where I'm wrong, but Ganj to me was, in the present form, resembles like a street in London or a street in England. And it is, I think at one point of time, was called Queen's Road. Hazratganj is its original name and it is still known by that. But I think it was because the British who stayed, they were getting nostalgic for home, and so they built something which resembled there. And there were other Mughal buildings and Nawab buildings that were already there. And Papa will cover on the historical part of what Hazratganj. But before that, I think we are hungry and time for us to have some chaat.
Yes.
I studied in a school called Cathedral School, and not that I had some great marks there, but two things worth mentioning. It has, I think, one of the biggest churches in India. The church is shaped like Noah's Ark, like the stern of the Noah's Ark. That is where it's.
Wow.
And the second thing is next to Cathedral's wall is Shukla Chaat Bhandar.
एक साइड में Noah's Ark की बात करें, I thought you were going to go that angle. Directly Shukla Chaat आ गए. Very good. I appreciate.
So Shukla Chaat, and the thing with the small towns, I think they were in Delhi also. Everybody claims to be original. So, but you have to identify the Shukla chaat, which is next to the cathedral wall, is the one that is original. There are others which are there, but you should ignore them. Shukla chaat is literally a hole in the wall store. It is one person, one Shukla ji, possibly, and one person with possibly 10 hands who's serving out pani ke batashe, who's giving chaat, different types of making. Everything is happening. It's like a extra live counter. So you go to Shukla chaat, definitely should have pani ke batashe, pani puri, golgappa.
I never knew about this, that you have it's such a different name. We always only know puchka, pani puri, golgappa. We have pani ke batashe is also pani puri. It's a new name.
Yeah. And apart from that, you should have matar ki chaat. So, and it's like a maybe a way to describe it is like a more loose kind of tikki. You can scoop it with a spoon and eat it.
Have you had the ghugni in Calcutta side?
Yeah. Ghugni is like loose.
Pani just say.
Matar ki chaat is like a tikki. Okay. Like you get like a halwa in a way, like a savory halwa. So, and there's a ritual to eating it. You take it. There'll be some ginger shavings on top. He will give you the nimbu with unsqueezed. So before you eat it, then you squeeze it so that it is completely fresh, and then you start eating it. So you have matar ki chaat there, you have tikki, but you should develop more hunger because Shukla ki chaat is not the only chaat place that is famous in Hazratganj. You walk a bit ahead, there's a place which is now very popular. Like the first thing that you will see is a poster of some 20-30 movie stars and all that who have come and eat there. The person who makes chaat there, he calls himself Chaat King, and he doesn't wear that crown lightly. And he has this one particular thing called the basket chaat, which is basically a basket that you can eat. I think you would have heard of it as katori chaat or something.
It's the same here,
yeah, it's the same thing. He claims to be the inventor of that. Very colorful personality. Wears a Nehru cap, has got like a big handlebar mustache, and sunglasses even in the night because he's a celebrity. But Royal Cafe for the chaat is and quite hygienic also these days. They have this. If you have pani ke batashe there, the water is being given to you in dispenser. Like there's a dispenser where you can press the bowl. Quite hygienic. And Royal Cafe in general is good for food. So like even non-vegetarian food, there's a restaurant inside where you can sit and you can have good food, like vegetarian and non-vegetarian food. Word of warning for people who are traveling from Delhi and Bombay: the portion size in Lucknow is as big as the heart of people in Lucknow, quite large heart. So if you're ordering one plate here means one family, and one plate doesn't necessarily mean that one person who is going to starve himself because he doesn't want to spend too much money. So that's one word of delightful caution that I would want to mention.
So we have to go in a massively big groups that we can have little of so many things because serving size is going to be massive anyway.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But like, Amin Saini used to say कि दिल थाम के बैठिए तो आप थोड़ा भूख थाम के बैठिए. We're not done. We're not. What do you do when you've eaten a lot of things? Sometimes you're in a mood for chai. And you walk and you go to a place called Sharma Ki Chai. Again, very famous by the name. And some of these places live up to the hype that they have. So you go to Sharma Ki Chai, have chai. If you have the capacity to eat samosa. They serve a very unique samosa. It's a round samosa. It looks like a kachori, but it's a samosa.
Aloo ka samosa ki?
Aloo ka samosa. It is aloo ka.
Wow, yum. Nice.
Perennial
होते हैं कि बड़े-बड़े होते हैं?
Medium size होते हैं. And it's a place which is always packed, and it thrives on trust in some way. That you will go give the order, or you're standing somewhere. The person will come with the chai and all that. He's not expecting you to pay at that point of time. And it's not a restaurant. It's again hole in a wall. So everybody's standing around eating. So you eat samosa, you have the chai, and then I think there might be some people who might take advantage of this, but mostly then people after having the chai will go and pay. So very efficient, chaotic system they have. And especially
this is like, you're so happy that obviously you'll go and pay wala funda ho jata hai.
Yeah.
Fantastic, man. Okay. So, what kind of chai? Regular doodh wala chai?
Yeah, doodh wala chai.
Okay. Not the Kashmiri pink tea and
no. Kashmiri pink tea is more chalk.
Okay. Very nice. So Sharma style.
Sharma ki chai.
Sharma ki chai.
And then you may talk about the Tramaster sweet.
Yes. And now
they also sell kulfi and kali gadar ka halwa and things like that.
Ooh. Bolo, bolo.
so you can either do this on day 1 evening or day 2 morning of your
Yeah,
event.
you cannot do it on day one. Everything ho gaya yaar. Kitna
But
khas
there
ho.
is a
Yeah.
there is a shop called Ram Asre, which is very famous for sweets, and they sell very delicious kachori, samosa, as well as sweets. It is also one of those places where you can get makhan malai early in the morning in the winter,
Ganj area.
Ganj area in the winters.
Hmm.
So you go to Ram Asre, and there are many kachori stores, shops there. Like I mentioned, North India, mein kachori and aloo is like a staple breakfast. And if you have not decided on where you want to stay, try to stay somewhere close to Hazratganj because that is the center of the city. From there, you can, like early morning, you can, for day 2, you can have breakfast.
Yeah, you can have your kachori and aloo ki sabzi for breakfast along with your
Then
makhan malai. Then
malai.
go on a walk where you
Walk.
feel that, okay, I'm working out all those calories or whatever, vacation calories. Oh, nice combination. I like it.
Lots and lots of food walking and food talking we have done here. Let's take a quick little break now and come back with the Hazratganj history stories with Uncle and Vaibhav. Oh, a commercial break? Not really. This is a request to you to check out our Labor of Love, a newsletter on Substack called Sneaky Footprint. It's from our team at Misadventures of a Sneaker. We write about travels, vacations, travel tips, anecdotes, lots of pictures, and of course, a suggested itinerary too. Do check out misadventuresofasneaker.substack.com. And oh, we've now started a new service of curating travel itineraries to the destinations made just for you. And oh, we have now started a new service of curating travel itineraries to the destinations made just for you. So if you want to get a vacation planned, like this one to Lucknow, leave us a note or DM us on our Substack page. Leave us a note on Instagram or DM us on our Substack page and we will plan something special for you. You could support us by following and subscribing to our newsletter and our Instagram page, Misadventures of a Sneaker. All the links are in the show notes. Thank you. So welcome back after this little break. You were talking a lot about food before this break. Uncle, now over to you.
Yeah, now I can take over after your tummy is full. So there is no point in taking walk when you are hungry, because then you will not look at history, you will only look at food.
Correct.
So coming back to Hazratganj, let me start with the road. That road is a very interesting history. It was one of the earliest broad road in Lucknow.
Yeah.
Came sometime in 1810.
Oh, that old.
Way back. So there was a road linking Dilkusha right up to the place where the king used to live and residency was there. So the old tradition was that when a new resident will come, he cannot enter into Lucknow. He was not permitted. There was a kothi called Bibiapur ki Kothi, very close to Dilkusha. The resident will come and stay there for a night.
Okay.
Next day, Nawab will go. A resident will sit on the same elephant on which Nawab is sitting. And Nawab with honor will escort resident to the residency, and that road was used for that purpose.
Oh, wow. That's such a grand welcome. My God.
Yeah. And there were two old Grecian arches on that particular road. So in the initial period, that road was there, and there were few houses. One was called Kothi Nuru Baksh. Now district magistrate lives there. And the other was called Kothi Hayat Baksh. That's the governor's place, governor's house now, on the two ends of Hazratganj. In the British period, they become the chief commissioner, later on governor's house, and of course, district magistrate was living there. So there were a few kothis in that area. One was called Kankadwali, other was called Anakwali. So somebody, Anak must have been very rare at that time. So things like that.
These kothis, they still look like those heritage, old time.
No. All of them had given way to the modernity, and a lot of new structures have come. But their old photographs are there, and books mention it, and we know who used to stay there and finally what happened to them. Okay. So there is a continuous history.
Okay.
But the first question when you go to Hazratganj is, what does the word means? Hazratganj. So Hazratganj is actually two words, Hazrat and Ganj. So one must know what the word Hazrat means. But the word Hazrat was used for the respect. He was a king, Amjad Ali Shah, who was the father of Wais Ali Shah. He was a very religious man, And because of respect, he was called Hazrat. So on the next to Hazratganj road, main road, he created a huge kothi called Begum Kothi. Begum Kothi complex, the number of kothis for his wives, not the main wife, the other ones, and there were other persons who were living in that area.
Okay.
So because he created that Begum Kothi complex, and he is also buried, as I discussed, imambaras are also mausoleums. So he is buried in an imambara called Siptanabad. Siptanabad imambara is also located in the Hazratganj. And there is another very popular urban legend. There are Anglo-Indian still living in that area. And the famous singer Sir Cliff Richard, the old rock and roll man,
Yes, of course.
He lived there for a very short time. He was born in Lucknow. He had railway lineage. But when he was the age of 7, they migrated to Calcutta, and finally, post-independent, they went to England. And after that, it's a history.
Yeah, after that.
So that becomes the Hazrat, Begum Kothi and Siptanabad Imambara. Now comes the Ganj. The meaning of Ganj kept on changing. Now I see it's an area, it's a locality, a modern locality, things like that. The initial concept of Ganj was a grain market.
Oh.
So Lucknow was a huge grain market also. But it became more important because when it became capital, the population thrived, like in Bangalore because of IT sector and Delhi. So you require a huge consumption. So there will be market. So a lot of grain was being consumed. Even Hazratganj had a very small grain market.
Must. So basically it's Hazrat plus Ganj wala combination, Hazratganj.
Yeah. After that, when the mutiny took place, the 1857 battle took place, Begum Kothi was a site for a huge battle.
Oh.
We all know about the Bahadur Shah Jafar, the last Mughal emperor. He surrendered. And after next day, his sons, 2 sons and a grandson also surrendered before Hudson. And he was escorting them in a cart. But suddenly at one place, he asked them to come down. He stripped them, robbed them of their ornaments, and killed them.
Ooh, okay.
So it was like a murder in the cold blood. And then he came up with a story like in police encounters that there was a threat, crowd will come and crowd will capture us. So that's why we had to kill him. So he became quite infamous. Hudson was killed in the Begum Kothi battle. He's buried in the Lamartiniere, but he was killed in the Begum Kothi battle.
Oh.
So after 1857, when the Britishers won, they demolished at least 1/3 of Lucknow. A good part of Kaisarbagh, Begum Kothi. Begum Kothi was not demolished. It was captured, and all the different kothis, houses, they were given to European shopkeepers.
Oh.
And from where the European shops emerged in that area. And that there was a reason that most of Europeans were living in that area. As I mentioned, chief commissioner, that's the governor, and then deputy commissioner, other officers. And the clubs were also very close by. There was a United Service Club, US Club. So US Club, Chhatarmanjil was the place where they converted to US Club. And for the non-covenanted officers and Anglo-Indians, they created another club called Lucknow Club, very close. And the 2 most important churches, Britishers are mostly Protestants, but the cathedral, which Vaibhav just mentioned, was the first Catholic church. Came sometime in around 1862, 1863.
Wow.
Because there was no church before that. So what they did, they converted one imambara into church.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So for a long time, Siptanabad imambara was used as a church. Although there was already a grave there, but they were using it as a church. And Lord Canning, who was the Governor General, he also came and did a service in that church. And after that, cathedral came.
Oh, what a story. Wow.
Yeah, but that time it was St. Joseph's Church.
Okay.
But unfortunately, the building collapsed. And then again, within a year, it was resurrected. The cathedral, because when it became a cathedral, the office of bishop, it became of the new structure. But because most of them were Anglican church, we have an Anglican church also on the other side of the bench. So that is why Hazratganj become more or less an European area and become a posh market area. And then the same 1920s, the whole architecture became the Victorian Georgian type of architecture. And the road which Hazrat Ali Khan had made was first called Strand Road, then Mall Road. Because all the British cities, they had a Mall Road.
Yeah.
It was called Mall Road.
Fantastic. So if I walk on Hazratganj Road now, how does it look like now?
One can feel sad, one can feel happy, depends upon how you look at it. Because if you are trying that how much changes has come, how they have not maintained the heritage, you will feel sad. But otherwise also, still it's a quite wide road. And the most modern, I'm not counting malls. Malls are not shops.
Yeah.
So you have got the shops, you've got the eateries, all those type of things are still available.
Wow.
So that way, so evening you can spend at the Hazratganj.
Oh, this is so. But does it give you any Victorian feels even now? Like if you walk down that road?
Yeah. At least a good number of shops still have that Victorian Georgian structures. You have a colonial arcades, and at least in some part of it, arches, pillars, that type. Even a clock tower, small clock tower.
My Nani ji, she's no more currently, but she loved only two cities in her life, Lucknow and Bombay. These are two cities that she loved.
This is flowing in your genes, Vaibhav. It is not you.
One time I overheard her telling somebody on the phone that we were living in Kolaba, like I told you, we used to live in Kolaba, that she was trying to explain to somebody what Kolaba is. So she was saying that Kolaba, समझ लीजिए, Bombay का Hazratganj है. That is how she described Kolaba. And you will get that feel because Kolaba also British buildings and arches and all that, port area. Hazratganj will give you that heritage wali feeling with the modern, shopping area there. There are certain notable stores there. There's a good, there's a Kashmiri shop.
Kashmir Emporium.
Kashmir Emporium. I think Kashmir Emporiums were built in various parts of the country, possibly to help out Kashmir traders. There's a Kashmir Emporium is there. There's a Gandhi Khadi Ashram. You get inexpensive things there. All the modern stores also have their, shop there. And there's also some chicken stores there as well.
Do you have fast track store there, Vaibhav?
We have a Titan store there. We have and we have a Tanera Sari there, and there's a Tanishq also there. Any brand that has to exist today has to have in Lucknow has to have a
outlet there.
And
lovely, fascinating area, man.
Since you can't eat you keep on eating, but you also have, let's say, friends and relatives back home, I would recommend that you go to a place called Burma Bakery. Now, why it's called Burma Bakery, I would ask Papa if he can elaborate on that.
Actually, they were in the Burma. Nothing to do with their surname like Burma or things like that. So they learned their art. They spent a lot of time in Burma and then came. So they are very old bakery stores.
So
they learned baking in Burma and came back and set up a store in. So that was the seal of authenticity. That's why they call it Burma Bakery.
Actually, Burma was part of India till 1930s. It was a part of India. So it was much easier to go and come back. Only in late 1930s, it became separate.
So Hyderabad has a Karachi bakery. Lucknow has a Burma bakery.
But it's a very nice small bakery store which sells biscuits and all that, which you can go. And Lucknow has this biscuit available in many places, but available in mostly winters, naan khatai. And naan khatai is sold in many, you can see thelas going with a pile of naan khatai.
Correct. Yeah.
And, you dip naan khatai in tea, slightly sweet, salty kind of taste.
Yeah, बढ़िया लगता है.
Yes.
So with this, what we end our day one
first
and
day,
day two
one.
Breakfast also, I think, is taken care of through this.
Yeah,
Honestly, I think if you're going to, so for example, when I go to, मैं 2-3 बार Amritsar गई हूँ, and whenever I check into a hotel there, I always choose a non-breakfast inclusive option so that I can go out and eat all the रास्ते का कचड़ा वहाँ पे. So I think Lucknow में भी ऐसे ही करना चाहिए, that when you are staying in some hotel, don't choose the hotel breakfast. बाहर जाके have all your kachoris and aloo sabzis and all those kind of things. ये big tip है, okay, big tip.
Yeah. Another thing for your listeners is that Hazratganj also has a metro station. Lucknow has got a nice, small but very efficient metro. If you're coming by flight, even if you're coming by train, like even the train station Charbagh has a metro station, the airport has a metro station, and Hazratganj has a metro station. It's an underground metro station, so that the beauty of Hazratganj is not that much. And you come out of the metro station, bang opposite the chaat shop. So you come out from the metro but it is an efficient way of traveling, in Lucknow. So if you're planning to stay in
Right.
Hazratganj, you can take the metro from wherever you are. You take the metro and be in Hazratganj.
Fantastic, fantastic.
Yeah.
Excellent. I love this tip as well.
And as far as the breakfast you were talking about that, the most popular place is Netram. It is located somewhere in Aminabad.
Mhm.
And they're very old, 150 years types of that shop. And you get kachodis in the morning. The morning thing is kachodi, or rather khasta, and jalebi.
Wow.
And the evening time, you get samosas and imirti. And they have got dish called jaleba.
Oh, that's that massive jalebi.
Yeah.
Ah,
So
Indore
normally,
mein bhi hai. I love how something from here is, I'm finding it in that city, something from here, that city.
yeah.
Ah, it's fantastic. I've never even heard of jaleba before I went to Indore. तो मैं दूसरी बार सुन रही हूँ, अभी लखनऊ बोल रहे हो आप.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I was under the impression it is available only in the evening. Recently, we did a heritage walk on Hazratganj a week back. So my friend, they wanted to go to Netram because then daytime it's impossible to go. It was Sunday morning, parking was possible. He ordered for jaleba. I said, कि सुबह कहाँ मिलेगा? That man was listening. He said, नहीं हम आपके order पे बना देंगे.
अरे
अब
वाह.
ये जलेबी उतर जाने दीजिए. Then he, on his order, he made 4 huge ones, 100 gram each type of jalebas. So you can have jaleba or jalebi, khasta. Even Ganj itself, Moti Mahal is a very nice place, Moti Mahal and Ramashre, and a lot of people go there.
It's a virtuous breakfast cycle.
हाँ, मीठा के बाद तीखा खाना, तीखा के बाद मीठा.
Yeah. फिर चाय पीना है आपको तो फिर कुछ तीखा खाना पड़ेगा.
Correct. Then we have to search where is naan khatai because we have to have chai.
Yeah.
We go
Yeah.
crazy.
And you've got good kulfi also in Hazratganj. Kulfi and rabdi.
Oh, nice. Okay, so we did chalk on the first day. We are doing Hazratganj. How far is it between the two? Like, अगर मुझे यहाँ से यहाँ जाना पड़े.
These days, you get electric rickshaws, which are like sharing rickshaws. So you'll have the fun of going along with 7 more people.
Why not?
But distance is not much, 3-4 kilometers at max. So not much. And the road there is like, we were discussing during the Bombay episode. Every city says it has a marine drive.
Yes.
So this road also says it has a marine drive, or not even called a marine drive, but it is next to the Gomti Nadi.
I was going to ask you, how is the riverfront and all of that?
Yeah. So if you come from Chowk to Hazratganj, you will see the bridge and all that, and then you will come. And while coming from Chowk to Hazratganj, you will see parks. There is a Buddha Park. There is at that point of time, used to be called Globe Park, and you can still see the globe. There is a huge globe which used to rotate. It used to work. These are children's parks built for and open for the public, and picnic spots and all that. And there is also Begum Hazrat Mahal Park. For a long time as a kid, I used to think that Begum Hazrat Mahal ke naam pe hi Hazratganj bana hai, but it is not that. Begum Hazrat Mahal was the chief belligerent, so as to say, in the 1857 war. She is the one who held the entire troops together. The chief lady of Lucknow, I would say, is Begum Hazrat Mahal, who really fought the British tooth and nail. There's a big Begum Hazrat Mahal Park, again open to the public, and a bit like Lodhi Garden in a way from Delhi. That there are tombs nearby, there are in like old structures. So you are walking in heritage. This I think is more than enough for day one. Now you.
No, day. So basically, we cannot do Lucknow in 3 days. We have to do it in 5 days. Net में पहले ही बोल रही हूँ समझ जाओ. Hey, I just remember that Lucknow has this Asia's largest park, right? There is a legendary or something. And then someone said, oh, we also have Lal Bagh. And they're like, are you kidding me? This is Lal Bagh Kabhi Baap.
Janeshwar Mishra Park is a very new thing. It's not more than 10-year-old.
Oh.
So it got built when Mr. Akhilesh Yadav was the chief minister.
Correct.
And Janeshwar Mishra was a socialist leader.
Now, unka bada sa statue hai na udhar.
हाँ. So because Mayawati came with Ambedkar Park and a huge number of parks.
Of course.
They came up with the Lohia Park and Janeshwar Mishra Park. But the park has been beautifully laid with some lake and thousands of trees and very, very popular destination. But in the newer part of city, that Gomti Nagar area.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right. So now we are...
we can move to day 2.
Yes.
So,
okay. So today, where are we going?
Yeah. So that, as I said, we divide into 3 areas. The first day, Husainabad, Chowk, and the evening at Hazratganj. Next day, we again moves into by lanes of history, Kaisarbaghi. And
Okay.
there are heritage tours organized for Kasarabad. Half
Lovely.
day tour, full day tour. UP Tourism organizes those tours. And there you get a lot of beautiful buildings, a piece of history called Residency.
Mm-hmm.
So we can start traveling from one end. Right at the end of Chowk, there is a building called Koti Farhat Baksh.
Okay.
It is actually older than Imambara, Bada Imambara.
Oh.
And it was not owned by Nawabs. The Farhat Baksh was made in 1781. So you can imagine before French Revolution and after American independence. So that will give you a sense of time.
God. Mm.
It was built by Claude Martin, a Frenchman, who spent a lot of time, lot of money, earned a lot of money, and spent a lot of money in Lucknow. The interesting part of this building was its architecture.
Mm.
It still has a lot of turrets around. There was a moat and there was a drawbridge. But the more interesting part was it was built right inside the river.
Inside the river?
Yeah, so the 2 stories, when the river will swell, will go inside the river. And what he will do, that during rainy season, when the river is going to swell, he will go on the top story. There are 4 stories. But in the case of summer, when the water will recede, he will go to the bottom 2 stories. And it will become very cool.
हाँ AC जैसा हो जाएगा ना, correct?
हाँ.
Wow, देखो.
एकदम बगल में नदी है. River comes inside the house and goes outside the house. That was the architecture. Very, very different type. So, but when the river starts entering your house, you start moving things up. That's a different story.
उनके घर में सोफा नहीं होगा, फ्रिज नहीं होगा ना.
It had a huge museum type of thing. They had the most costly paintings, furnitures.
Oh.
Yeah, but they must have been keeping it on the upper stories.
Yeah. Oh, this is so cool. And how well maintained is this koti now?
No. Now you only have the history part. You still have a koti part.
Hmm.
So what happened later on? The Claude Martin died in 1800. So the person who was handling with the property, he got it. So Saadat Ali Khan, he wanted to purchase that house.
Hmm.
And he purchased that house. And right from the time of Saadat Ali Khan, sometime in 1800, it remained the house of Nawabs till almost to the time of Vaid Ali Shah. Vaid Ali Shah also stayed there and later on moved to Kasarabad. So the building is still there. The building is still there. When the Britishers captured, what they did, they removed the moat, they removed the drawbridge, making it easily accessible.
Hmm.
And there are 2 other houses next to that. Chhatar Manjil.
Hmm.
Chhatar Manjil is quite famous because on the top of it there is an umbrella.
Oh,
There used to
chhatri.
be a Chhatri.
Oh.
So there is a golden umbrella,
Hmm.
and based on that it was called Chhatar Manjil.
Oh.
There used to be a Choti Chhatar Manjil also. It got collapsed. It
Oh,
got
badi
collapsed.
imambara chota.
Correct.
everything.
Choti Chhatar Manjil. The Choti Chhatar Manjil got collapsed in around 1860 in flood. Badi Chhatar Manjil, the main Chhatar Manjil is still there. All the queens and everybody else used to live in Chhatar Manjil.
Oh.
And a common man will always make a mistake of treating Farhat Baksh as a part of Chhatar Manjil because they are all adjoining.
Hmm.
So this area became US club when Britishers occupied. And when the Indians came back after independence, it was CDRI, Drug Research Institute,
Oh.
for a long time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And very recently, they vacated it. Now ASI has taken it over and they're trying to maintain. So one can visit the Farhat Baksh Palace. Next to that is Chhatar Manjil. And right in the front, there is a place called Lal Baradari.
Like very
open-
literally baradari kinds.
12 doors. So Lal Baradari is right now used as the Lalit Kala Academy, State Lalit Kala Academy. You get a painting exhibition and things like that. But the original purpose of Lal Baradari was basically it was a throne room, like Westminster Abbey,
Wow.
where the ceremonial crowning of king will take place.
So has to be so grand also.
Yeah. So after Saadat Ali Khan, all the kings right up to Vaid Ali Shah, they were thrown in there in the Lal Baradari.
Wow.
And from there one can move to the Kasarabad.
Okay. These
Kasarabad-
buildings are decently still have its.
You can look at their grandeur. You can look at the architecture. You can marvel at them. And then you can move to Kaisarbagh.
Hmm.
Kaisarbagh was a huge, you can say, number of palaces were there.
Hmm.
But at least 2/3 of them have been demolished by the Britishers.
Oh, so sad.
So post 1857, they're quite annoyed, quite unhappy with the Indians who fought like that. And Kaisarbagh was looted also like anything.
Oh.
But still in Kaisarbagh, you can find a baradari called Chandi Wali Baradari or Safed Baradari.
Okay.
The Chandi Wali Baradari it was called because the dome of that baradari had some silver filigree work on the top. It's no longer there, but it looks very beautiful, and a lot of heritage festivals are organized there.
I have a question. So you
yeah.
said that this one chat of the Kaisarbagh ka place has the silver work, right?
Correct. The
Then
Chandi Wali Baradari.
Then you have this is Safed Baradari also, right?
Yeah, so the Chandi thing is now no longer there. It is painted in white color.
Oh, okay.
It looks grand. Chandi Safed Baradari looks very grand, and a lot of functions take place. And there are huge lawns of Kaisarbagh. Lawns are still there. And as I told you about Chaulakhi Kothi, made of perfume and all that, the entire thing has been demolished. But the gate of Chaulakhi Kothi, Takhi Darwaza, is still there. And the number of Kaisarbagh gates are still there. So you can have at least some idea about the old grandeur of Kaisarbagh.
So Chaulakhi was the 4 lakh. So 4 lakh ka kya tha? Was it the cost? Or
4 lakh was the cost. 4 lakh was the cost.
Oh.
And they say he was the barber of Wais Ali Shah, who had paid 4 lakhs to get that koti.
Oh, I love these kind of random stories.
There is a very interesting part. I was listening to somebody. He said there is a problem with the barbers. Started with Aurangzeb.
Okay.
Because Aurangzeb never wanted to bow. वो झुकना नहीं चाहते थे.
Okay.
किसी के आगे. But when a barber is there, you have to bow. क्योंकि जो पीछे का बाल वो काटेगा, so then जब तक आप you will not bow, you will not be able to clear that. So they had very interesting way of doing it. There is a caste or there is a people called Sayyid in Muslims.
Okay.
Sayyids are direct progenies of Hazrat Muhammad Sahib. And they are nobles and they are very learned persons and they are respected. And everybody, even a king will bow before him.
Oh.
So when a barber will come, all the courtiers will arrange a Sayyid. And Sayyid will come and stand right in the front of him. And he will bow and haircut will be done.
Us time mega planning for one haircut.
Yeah. And the another problem was when a king is riding on the elephant. Now your back should never be towards king or towards somebody who is senior to you.
Correct.
But Mahavat, the way he sits on the elephant, his back has to be towards you. So how it can be done? How a Mahavat can show back to king? So what they will do, they will put a Sayyid between king and Mahavat. Because Sayyid can show his back. He is a respected priest.
So ये Sayyid का जो job description है ना बहुत exciting JD है उसका. Oh, this is too much.
Highly respected, learned persons, but these are the stories, the way it goes. So now once we are we have crossed the Kaisarbagh, we can move to Aminabad. Vaibhav can take you to Aminabad and all those details.
Yes. Now tell me the distance or how do we go between.
So because Lucknow is a polite city, when you ask somebody kahan pe, everybody will say bas thoda sa aage hai. So
गलत सवाल पूछ लिया मैंने तुमसे.
But I think, see, again, because all of these places, you normally do by rickshaw or sometimes you walk and all that. The distance is, if I have to put it, not much, like maybe 1 kilometer or 2 kilometers, because the old city is all concentrated together. So it's Kaisarbagh. Like Aminabad itself from Hazratganj is not more than 2 to 3 kilometers.
Okay.
And till the edge of Aminabad, you can come by a car or a rickshaw. But Aminabad is like a very bustling market. Like you mentioned Amritsar, the heritage of Amritsar, like that. Aminabad, like Chowk, it is another center of shopping and bulk shopping. You want to buy, like Chowk is concentrated, let's say, on wedding and the fineries and all that. But even regular supplies you will get for a much cheaper rate in Aminabad. It's a bit like Crawford, so as to say. Like you want to buy drawing supplies, you will have the wholesalers who are sitting there.
Bulk में कुछ लेना हो, so this is a good place to go and get it.
Bulk में कुछ लेना है, mostly with slightly finer things of life, painting and drawing and all that, you will get there. And also the regular clothes and even perfumes and all that. So Aminabad is like a larger version of Chowk. Has a lot of people, but it is like because I believe a lot of Indian nobles used to live near Aminabad. Lots of kothis are there, but we'll start with food because now we are day two. I think we've had breakfast. We've gone to Kaisarbagh. We visited the 3 sites that were mentioned.
Yes.
We have possibly worked up an appetite. So in Aminabad, again, in my view, that's the only official branch of Tunde. So the menu at Tunde Chowk is limited. It's kebab and paratha, but here it's like a proper restaurant. As in, like, you get different things. You get vegetarian kebabs also. You can have a kebab. Today you can have a kebab paratha there.
Yay!
You can have the Mughlai Varki paratha, and that way, along with that, you can have the kebab. And in front of Tunde Kebabi is a restaurant called Alamgir. Very small, can seat maybe 8 to 10 people at max at one point of time, but a legendary place with a specific dish which I would like to point out called Band Gosht. I think they use some dum cooking or something, but it's band, like close wala band.
Close wala band.
Band Gosht, very popular and quite delicious also. And apart from that,
what is it? It's a sabji, like it's a gravy.
Yeah, it's a gravy curry.
So
it's a
you
curry.
have it with kulcha or paratha or something like that.
Yeah, you have with kulcha paratha.
I like how your face lights up when you talk about this.
Yeah, I love the winters in Lucknow. I mean, like, to work up this appetite, you go in the winter, but they have an AC section. Even if you're going in the summer, sit in the AC section, and then वो जुगाड़ से cold drink भी है. उनके menu में नहीं है, but they will, if you ask, they will get a nice chilled thumbs up to.
Best combination for having these greasy foods.
The other famous thing in Aminabad is Prakash ki kulfi. So Prakash ki kulfi also, I believe, has been there for maybe centuries, and like the original ice cream, the OG ice cream kulfi, and they cool it in that old matka way. There's a matka and it is shaken, and then using that it becomes cool and all that. Even if it is winter, you can have kulfi. The advantage is that it will melt slower. You will enjoy it for more. But if you are going at the peak of the summers, you want to cool down, definitely go and have kulfi at Prakash ki kulfi.
Fabulous.
So again, I think because of the trading part or the shopkeeper part, the eating places are quite good in Aminabad. You can spend time looking for more chicken, and Aminabad has an interesting thing is that there are gullies named after things that are available there. And Chowk also had this. There was a Phoolo ki gali, where सिर्फ फूल मिलते थे. So as a kid, I used to love this dish called khaja. Khaja is a popular, again, comes from the Middle East to India, like a lot of things that we talked about. And khaja is like a layered croissant which is flat but slightly thick. It is sweet. But you have the non-sweet version also. So as a kid, I used to remember there was a khaja ki gali, जहाँ पे सिर्फ खाजा मिलता है. So
पूरी गली में, wow.
But because the popularity of khaja has kind of reduced, like people are not aware of what khaja is. A few years ago, my father and I, we went looking for khaja because I was in the mood for khaja. As a kid, we used to hear this story which has this line, Andher Nagari Chaupat Raja, Taka Ser Bhaji, Taka Ser Khaja. So that,
I know the first 2 lines of this, yes.
Yeah. So we went looking for khaja shops. There are hardly any now. We found one, and that one shop was also no longer retailing it. He was saying that I make it when I get a wedding order and all that. And he was saying that, but the khaja is first made in layers and then the sweet part is added later. That day, unfortunately, they did not have sweet khaja that day. He was very happy that somebody has come looking for a khaja shop, and he was lamenting the fact that people eat different desserts and have forgotten about khaja.
So खाने को मिला कि नहीं मिला finally?
No, we didn't take it. Because वो sweet वाला नहीं था. So, but there's also a batashe wali gali. Now this is around the time of my wedding. So batashe are used in a lot of puja.
Yeah, that sweet white thing जो पूजा में खाते हैं. Correct. I love it. It's just sugar. I love it.
Well, batashe wali gali is in Aminabad, but my father and I, we had to buy for the wedding. We had to buy batasha. So we told the driver कि आप ले चलो बताशे वाली गली जाना है हम लोग को. And the driver asked कि कितना बताशे लेना है आपको. So we said 2 kg. The driver's eyes exploded. He was like 2 kg बताशे लेने हैं आपको. We said हाँ लेने हैं, उसमें क्या बड़ी बात है. 2 kg कितना होगा?
पूजा में तो उधर तो शादी है.
Yeah, दो डब्बा होगा possibly. And he took us to a place which was not Aminabad.
Okay.
So we told him to take us to Batashe wali gali.
Hmm.
He took us to a place which was very near to our house, like walking distance from our house.
Hmm.
We were like, wondering, यहाँ क्या लेके आया हम लोग को? And then we realized that it was Pani ke Batashe wali gali. So near our house in Lucknow, there is a gali.
He thought you were buying 2 kgs of pani puri.
Yes. And he would have thought that, we don't have a car big enough to.
कितना आया होगा, you could have. No wonder his eyes popped out, man.
Yeah.
I like the idea, वैसे.
Yeah.
Oh my God, lot of pani puri.
So we ended up, but again, because we went there, we ended up buying some Pani ke Batashe, and we bought it at home.
Oh my God, this is so funny.
Beauty of language leads to this.
Correct.
The Nafasat of Lucknow, which calls it Pani ke Batashe.
I know it. Oh man. So now when you go to pani puri stores, do you automatically say pani ke batashe? Is that the first thing that comes to your mouth?
So now I think the lingo, because of the population, all that is changing. But Pani ke Batashe is an well-known, acceptable
Well-known thing there.
term there. Like the older people from Lucknow will still call it Pani ke Batashe. And that's why for us, when we moved to Bombay or Gujarat, Pani Puri sounded weird, because we were like, puri to sabji ke साथ खाते हैं, pani के साथ कौन
सही बात है.
जो है पूरी खाता है.
Oh, good point, man. And how is the pani puri of Lucknow? Is it like you have one aloo wala, then you have the Bombay ka matar wala.
Matar wala. Mostly matar wala. Ragda, what we call it.
Ragda, correct. So garam wala hota hai. Mostly.
Yeah, that matar, they will have some slight chaat kind of masala in it. You can eat it like that also. As in, like all the chaat stores, you can buy it separately. And there is a constant argument between Delhi, Lucknow and Banaras कि सबसे अच्छी चाट कहाँ मिलती है, सबसे अच्छे गोलगप्पे कहाँ मिलते हैं. I personally feel Lucknow के बेहतर है. Yeah. So I was telling you about Aminabad and the different lanes of Aminabad.
Yes.
This Itrawali lane, like all other shops. So if you're going to Aminabad and if you're sorted in what you want, you just need to ask which lane do I need to go to, and in that lane you will get what you require. So this is the food part of Aminabad.
Now we spoke about kebabs yesterday. We spoke about galauti kebab and tunde ka kebab. But there are so many other kebabs. Kakori kebab hai, boti kebab, asharfi kebab. So I was looking for, why is it Nawabs and kebabs? And Nawabs so we know ढेर सारे हैं. But kebabs में S तो बहुत plural में है for Lucknow. So where do you get all these different things? Are these names of shops or are these types of kebabs?
The menu at the original Tunde is slightly limited. It will give you only Galawati kebab. That's the kebab that you give. Galawati comes from Galawat. That it's while the apocryphal story is that it melts in your mouth, but it is basically comes from Galawat.
Isn't it some story where there was a Nawab or a king who
couldn't chew, and so
who could not chew? He could not chew because of teeth. That's all. Like बड़ा imambara story.
मुझे कहानियां बहुत अच्छी लगती है. We'll just call it urban legend and talk about it. But he had dental issues, and so they had to make this ekdam gala hoa kind of kebabs. Oh, what a story. So then the other kebabs?
In Aminabad wala Tunde, you can get a menu of different kinds of kebabs. And majorly in Lucknow, in different stores, in most of the shops which sell non-veg, you can get good kebabs. So Galauti is a type of kebab. There's also a famous kebab called Shami kebab. From the name itself sounds like कि शाम को खाते हैं तो शामी kebab है, evening kebab and all that. But Sham was the old name for Syria. And there was history was actually more cosmo than the present. Like,
I agree. Way more global.
You have an Iranian person who was the architect behind the Imambara. He's buried there also. He's still in India, so as to say. He never left India after coming to India. Wow. And there was a Syrian chef who came and gave this recipe. So it was a Syrian kebab, hence it was called Shami kebab. Kakori is a place near Lucknow. It takes its place from, again, like Shami from Syria. So Kakori is a place near Lucknow, made famous in our history by the Kakori Khan.
Of course.
So Kakori, again, from a different style of preparation, is a kebab. Then there is boti kebab. Boti means piece, literally means piece. So boti is like bite-sized chunks, pieces of mutton is boti kebab. Asharfi also is like small kebab. Asharfi means a coin. Asharfi is a old word for currency.
Okay.
So, and Sikh kebab, I think, takes its word names from shish kebab. But it also, because Sikh looks like a stick, it's like an elongated kebab. I think it is a call back to the origin of kebabs in Greece and Turkey and all that. That's where shish kebab used to be made, which used to be cooked in skewers. Here we cooked something like the skewer inside the skewer, like on the top of the skewer. So it's called seekh kebab. And another famous shop for kebabs is Shekhawati in Hazratganj.
Okay.
So if Tunde is known more for Galavati kebab, Shekhawati is known more for Shami kebabs. And again, kebab paratha is the acceptable combination wherever you go. So yeah, so you will have a variety of kebabs to have at any point of time. So please go with a circle of friends so that all of you can order different things. And then,
you can have 1/4 of this and 1/3 of this and वैसे बोटी कबाब वगैरह छोटे-छोटे होते हैं, so you can just like take टिक करके. Oh my God, यार, I wish I was a non-vegetarian man. Sometimes I really do. ऐसे things you talk about.
But you get like good veg Shami kebabs also. I mean, like they make it quite well. And this variety of kebab that I mentioned, you get in all major restaurants. Like there is a chain called Dastarkhan, which has many outlets. Moti Mahal also sells non-veg in the restaurant, as in like the chaat place is outside the restaurant. Inside it's a proper restaurant where you get everything. To Moti Mahal also you can get many different types of kebabs.
Very interesting, lovely.
Yeah.
Okay. My God, मैं 4 दिन का खाना हो गया. How are we on day 2, man? Okay. Abhi now Uncle is going to tell us a story of
Aminabad
area, correct?
Yeah. So Aminabad, you can say, is a sister market to Hazratganj.
Yeah.
So Hazratganj, we know about the king Hamzat Ali Shah. His prime minister was Aminuddaulah, Wazir or Diwan. So Aminuddaulah, he got the Aminabad made. So both the market practically came up almost together. Aminabad has a very interesting area, shopping area, Gadbad Jhala.
Gadbad?
Gadbad Jhala. The name is Gadbad Jhala. And the Gadbad Jhala, you have umpteen number of lanes crossing each other at 90 degrees. And there will be crockery wali gali and this gali and that gali and button wali gali. In the crockery wali lane, you will get all types of crockery at a very comparatively cheaper rate, that type of thing. But I would like to share only 2 trivia about Aminabad. One place very close to Aminabad, rather part of Aminabad, is called Kallan Ki Lat.
Okay.
Kallan is a very common name. When you try to decipher the meaning, who was Kallan, what is the Lat, it is actually Colonel Collins. Colonel Collins was the resident who died in Lucknow. And he was buried in a Christian cemetery close to Aminabad. And on his grave, because he was the resident, the senior most person, an obelisk was created. So obelisk will look something like a lat, like Ashok ki lat and things like that.
Yeah.
So that colonel later on became Kallan. And now it is recognized area is called Kallan ki Lat. There is a municipal ward called Kallan ki Lat. There are voter lists based on Kallan ki Lat.
Naam hi badal gaya hai pura.
Yeah. And if you Google it, you'll get a lot of shops with the address as Kallan ki Lat.
मैं क्या सोच रही थी और क्या निकल रहा है ये. Poor colonel be turning in his grave right there.
Yeah. That is very interesting. And second thing is, there is a good mosque in Aminabad. It's known as Panain Ki Masjid. Panain, wife of a Brahmin, Pandey. And there are a number of stories about that. But the most popular and accepted story is there was the Rani Jaipur, who was a Pandey, owned a lot of land in that area. And she had some Muslim Begum as her friend. She used to come to visit her. And then she will require a mosque to offer prayers. And that Panain, that Pandey, she got a mosque made for her friend.
How nice, no? So nice. It's a lovely, melting pot of religions wala story hai. Right?
Yes. So that's right inside the Aminabad. And we had a personal relationship also, like my mother-in-law, we were talking about her. There is a road named after her grandfather in Aminabad.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are like legends of Lucknow, kya?
Yeah.
Like, wow.
So
क्या गली है जाके हम लोग हाई बोल के आएंगे वहाँ पे?
Yes. That's quite a wide road and very popular road. It's called Dr. B.N. Verma Road.
Okay.
So Dr. B.N. Verma, her grandfather, was one of the earliest doctors of Lucknow, sometime in the early 20th century. And there was no medical college in Lucknow at that time. So he studied in Lahore, then went to London and came back. And the interesting thing is, in his house itself, there's a small surgery, and there used to be dispensary. So his son was also, my mother-in-law's father was also a doctor. So in that house, there is a round room on the ground floor where the people like Shambhu Maharaj will come and perform.
Oh, wow. Shambhu Maharaj performing. That's a very big deal.
Because they were the neighbors, the Shambhu Maharaj, that uncle of Birju Maharaj. And the tradition was there used to be a lot of fairs in Lucknow. There is a Bhairav Wali Gali. Bhairav is a god. So Bhairav Wali Gali and Bhairav Ji ka Mela. So on the first Sunday of Bhadon, the Indian calendar, a fair is held.
To this date.
To this date. And all the famous dancers used to come and offer their dance as tribute to Bhairav Ji.
Oh.
Including the father and grandfathers and uncles of Birju Maharaj. So that is something. The very interesting architecture in the British time was they used to follow the European architecture with the Indian customs and a lot of ghalmel.
Example?
Because the European architecture will provide a lot of windows in the rooms. But Indian houses, they were all supported of parda. So nobody can peep from the street inside the house. So there'll be barza, there'll be chhaja and roshandan, but window will be there as part of architecture. There'll be pediment covering the window, but the window itself will be covered with a brickwork. So you can see the unplastered brick right in the window.
It looks very beautiful. It looks very pretty that way.
So that house has that type of architecture. So one can spend the entire day in Aminabad, a lot of eateries, a lot of shopping experiences, and then we can, while coming back towards Hazratganj or whatever hotel one person is staying, one must look at the Residency.
Oh, yes. So Aminabad is also a place where you should get lost.
Yeah, because there's so many by lanes, and every lane has a very special name.
So button wali gali, मैं वो सुन के शौक हो गई.
Yeah.
गली में सिर्फ buttons ही buttons है, ये क्या है?
Yes. So once you come back to Katharbaag and came out of it, there is a Residency.
Yeah.
So Residency is still very well maintained, huge structure, and it's a testimonial of Battle of 1857. So when the revolt took place all over India, started from Meerut, went to Delhi, and when it came to Lucknow, the cantonment in Maniau revolted on 30th May. But before that, the Chief Commissioner, Lawrence, shifted all the children and ladies to the main Residency. And then there was a battle and place very close to Residency, and the Britishers lost. There are very few battles where Britishers lost. Rebellion was a different thing, but in a front battle, they lost.
Wow.
But they reverted back to Residency, and there was a siege of Residency.
Okay.
And there were different steps made to what is called as a relief of Residency. Sometime in September, Havelock and Outram came, and then the Campbell came. And finally, after a almost 9-10 month long battle, Lucknow could be captured. So for 3-4 months, the Residency was under siege. They had a lot of cannons, so battle kept on. So once you go to the Residency, you can see a lot of graves. Sir Henry Lawrence grave is there. And there's the grave of General Neil.
Okay.
Neil was also quite infamous like Hudson. He was known as the butcher of Allahabad. So he was infamous. So what he will do, he will go and burn the villages and hang people on the treetops so that everybody is terrified of the British forces. And hundreds of people were just hanged on the treetops. And when the Jhansi Ki Rani revolted, there is a song advising Jhansi Ki Rani that you must cut down all the trees.
Oh, na ped rahega na jagah hoga.
Na koi tata. So 2 reasons. One, Britishers were quite afraid of heat, the Indian summer. So the tree was providing them shelter. So there'll be no shelter and no trees to hang the Indians.
Why is so harsh? Okay.
Yeah. So that was the song, and it happened even in Lucknow. Things happened like that. So Residency has a lot of old buildings, and the most important place is called Beli Garat or Beli Guard.
Okay.
It is called Bailey Guard because Bailey was a resident. He started a system where the guard of honor was given and the entrance point guards will be kept. So that's why that place is called Bailey Guard.
Okay.
So your heritage walk for the second day should take care of Kasarbagh, Residency, Aminabad, the eateries of Aminabad, lanes, by lanes, lot of histories that will take the entire day.
Yeah.
And if you still have a time enough, maybe same day, maybe next day, should like to have a look at the school called La Martiniere.
Yes.
The boys of La Martiniere also fought in the Residency. And there is a plaque showing the place where La Martiniere students stood. And they had been given a color. Probably the only school which had got a military color was given after the Battle of 1857.
My God. A school and the students have been part of the whole history of the country.
Correct.
Yes.
We can't talk about La Martiniere unless we talk about the Claude Martin.
Okay.
The man on whose name is the Martiniere. Claude Martin, as I mentioned about the Farhad Baksh, is a very interesting character and related with the French Revolution.
French Revolution in Lucknow connection?
Yeah, see how things influence. The Napoleonic War, it impacted Lucknow because that gave them an excuse at the East India Company that we want more money. And because you can't pay more money, a part of it will be permanently ceded. So the area around Banaras, Gorakhpur, the eastern part of Awadh had to be ceded to East India Company. The excuse was a Napoleonic War. And Claude Martin came as a part of French Indies, shifted to East India Company, was the Major General. In around 1776, came to Lucknow and become an head of Arsenal of Asfaudollah.
Okay.
He earned a lot of money, huge collection of paintings and all, very close friend of Asfaudollah, and made this house, Farhad Baksh, a number of buildings.
Okay.
But he was quite sure that once he will die, all his properties will be captured by the Nawabs.
Okay.
And he was building a dream building, what was called Constantia. So he made a will that after his death, he should be buried in the Constantia, in that building. Because he knows that if there is a grave, there is a qabr, nobody will occupy the residential place.
Kya baat hai. Good job.
So right now, even in the Martiniere, there's a vault where Claude Martin is buried.
In the school?
In the school.
In the school, there is a grave?
In the school, yeah. In the school, there are number of graves.
My God.
Yeah, number of graves.
So can people go as tourists and see all these things in the school?
Yeah, you have to take permission and there are certain time restrictions and all. But one kind.
Yeah, wow, fascinating. Okay.
So there are a lot of graves. There is a Gori Bibi ka Maqbara, one of his wives, not legally wedded wife, who was the accompanying Claude Martin. A number of them, they are buried there.
Why is it Gori Bibi? Because he's a Gora.
She was an European lady.
Achha.
And he had Indian ladies also. But he died in 1800. The school came sometime in 1840s because there was a huge dispute about his property.
Okay.
So around 1840s, the trust issue was resolved and the La Martiniere school came. There is a La Martiniere Girls College also. La Martiniere Girls is located in a building called Khurshid Manzil.
Okay.
Khurshid means sun. Ghaziuddin Haider got that building made. Again, it had turrets and all those things. Post 1860s, the Britishers gave it to the La Martiniere Trust and a girls' college came. So that is a Claude Martin and a La Martiniere building. And the school is located next to Gomti.
Which one? The girls one or
the boys one? The boys one.
Okay.
But in 1960s, a huge flood came. It inundated the school. So now they had to build a small dam which protects the college. And close by is Dilkusha Kothi. Dilkusha Kothi is a beautiful garden building built by Saadat Ali Khan sometime in around 1800 when he became the king. And one of his friends, and he was also his advisor, he got that building, Dilkusha building, made. And it is basically a deer park.
Oh.
Yeah, huge amount of deers used to be there. And in that building came. Interesting. No. Now It becomes a part of cantonment now. But the building is still, it's well-maintained, lawn is there and one can go there. One can enjoy the serene atmosphere and the river. And the interesting part of that building was the building changed shapes because there were no cameras, no photographs. But there's a painter who came in 1814, Sitaram. He came along with the Viceroy. He painted a number of buildings in Lucknow. So in 1815, Dilkusha Kot is only 2-story with a flat roof.
Okay.
But later on, when it was photographed in 1850s, it is 3-story with a conical shaped roof. So after Saadat Ali Khan, his grandson Nasruddin Haider got it changed with a very specific type of architecture which he wanted and made it a 3-story. But the beauty of Dilkusha is it's the only building with a plain European architecture, a British architecture.
Meaning that place has no real Indian influence like you described earlier, the architecture?
Yeah, there is no place for Janana. You don't have any false windows. You don't have courtyards. Because otherwise, all the palaces, they have to give concession to Indian sensibilities. The concept of parda, the concept of angan, those things have to be.
Wow, so unique.
Yeah. And there are, the word Dilkusha means something which is pleasing to soul. Pleasing to heart. Dil khush karne wala. Dilkusha. So this is their area. But as I feel, the intangibles are also equally important.
Yes.
Like the poetry, dance, you have to feel it.
Yes, and Lucknow is so known for all this, no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me start with a few shires of Lucknow with the very modern renditions of those songs.
Yes, please. और बीच में हम लोग आपको वाह वाह भी बोले क्या अंकल?
Yeah, sure. So then the Lucknow started 1775 Vasudala as a fully grown up city. The great shires were Sauda, and then Mir Taqi Mir, and there is a very famous share of Ghalib. The share is Rekhte ke tumhi ustad nahi ho Ghalib. Rekhta is a word for Urdu. Okay. Urdu poetry. Rekhte ke tumhi ustad nahi ho Ghalib. कहते हैं अगले जमाने में कोई मीर भी था. So Ghalib is
help me understand the
meaning. Understanding means you are not the only master of poetry, Rekhta. कहते हैं, it is said, अगले जमाने में, in the earlier time, there is a poet called Mir.
So Ghalib basically was saying here that there was a poet much greater than me myself called Mir.
That was the Ghalib's tribute to Mir Taqi Mir, who was in Lucknow. And Mir Taqi Mir told about himself, "Mat sahal hame jano, फिरता है फलक बरसों." The sky has waited for years and years. तब खाक के पर्दे से इंसान निकलता है. Only then a man like me comes from dust.
Oh, like he's spoken about himself in such grand.
Grand feeling.
Wow, kya hai?
And but because he used to feel that his poetry and people accept him like Ghalib, accepted him like that. And many film songs are songs of Mir. Like Mehdi Hasan Ghazal, पत्ता पत्ता बूटा बूटा हाल हमारा जाने है, जाने न जाने गुल ही न जाने बाग तो सारा जाने. Very popular song, very famous, written by Mir Taqi Mir.
Oh, फिर और कोई?
And then there is a famous film Bazaar made in the background of Hyderabad.
Oh, that's the Smita Patel and Nasruddin Shah wala movie, na?
Yeah, and the Bazaar had number of songs of Mir Taqi Mir.
Arey वाह.
So if you go to YouTube, look at Mir Taqi Mir, you'll see the number of songs जो आपको सुना हुआ है. But coming from an 18th century
correct, I know. Are these mostly like ghazal kind of songs?
Yeah. They're all ghazals.
Oh, lovely.
So Mir Taqi Mir, Insha, they were 18th century. Then come the 19th century, there was a poet, Nasik was Ustad of kings. And he had made a sher, which everybody uses now, but nobody will attribute it to him. Zindagi Zinda Dili ka naam hai. जिंदगी जिंदा दिली का नाम है, मुर्दा दिल क्या खाक जिया करते हैं.
Oh, it might be समझ गए.
And actually it is a Nasik and easy to understand.
Yeah, it is.
And I'm only picking up a few of them from every century. Come to the 20th century, you have Hazrat Mohani. Hazrat Mohani is written, the Inqilab Zindabad. That slogan has been given by Hazrat Mohani.
Oh.
Yeah. But now we are talking about shayari, and we all remember Ghulam Ali.
Of course.
A lot of ghazals. And one very famous ghazal was Chupke Chupke Raat Din, Aansu Bahana Yaad Hai.
तो गाना ही है इतना अच्छा वाला. Yes.
But the author of this song is Hazrat Mohani, a shayar from Lucknow. So there are a lot of songs which are popular today. You can all trace back to 18th century, 19th century, 20th century shayars of Lucknow. And the singers, musicians like Naushad came from Lucknow. Naushad was working in a harmonium repair shop.
क्या बोल रहे हो, really?
Yeah, in Aminabad. He was working in a harmonium repair shop. Then he got a job for 50 paisa or 1 rupee for playing harmonium in a movie hall, picture hall. Because there were silent movies.
Okay.
There is a place called orchestra, the place from where you will sit down and make some music. So there, Naushad, along with some other colleagues, will sit down and play harmonium. And from there, he moved to Mumbai. And long time, he never told his father that he's working in the movies because treated so bad. And he felt very in a very precarious situation when during his marriage, nobody was aware that he's a great musician. And the bandmasters, they were playing songs from film Ratan, all directed by Naushad himself. And he was apprehensive कि अगर मेरी ससुराल वालों को पता चल गया कि मेरा बनाया हुआ गाना है, मेरी शादी टूट जाएगी.
शादी टूट जाएगी. Imagine such a great person. Oh my God.
Coming from Aminabad area. And Talat Mahmood, a famous singer,
of course,
also came from Aminabad area.
So Aminabad is like the birthplace of
so many, music, poetry.
Wow.
And the Premchand stayed long time in Aminabad. And books got published in that day.
Oh my God, आप मुंशी प्रेमचंद बोलेंगे तो मुझे अपना क्लास 10 के बुक्स सब स्टोरी सब याद आ रहा है.
You will remember.
I had so many of Munshi Premchand's.
Correct. Eidgah and Shatranj Ke Khiladi.
Oh my God, uncle, कितने सालों बाद ईदगाह सुन रही हूँ मैं.
Correct. And maybe we can pass the baton to Vaibhav to talk about movies based in Lucknow.
So, Premchand is an apt point to start talking about movies based in Lucknow. So, Shatranj Ke Khiladi is a short story written by Premchand. And Shatranj Ke Khiladi is the only movie made by Satyajit Ray, full-length movie. Like he made short movies which are in other languages, but the only movie made by Satyajit Ray which was not in Bengali. Shatranj Ke Khiladi is a satire on the Nawabi life. So, which is basically, Nawabs used to live slightly like Marie Antoinette kind of situation. You don't know what is happening on the ground. So, it is set during the 1857 War of Independence, just before that, for events leading up to that, when Wajid Ali Shah was taken away by the British because they wanted to take over Awadh. And Wajid Ali Shah is played by Amjad Khan, who was, played Gabbar. So
Gabbar, yaar, aur kya?
Yeah.
I know.
And, you can imagine Amjad Khan as Wajid Ali Shah, like a big, pompous, large-hearted.
Larger than life, that kind of a person.
Yeah. And Wajid Ali Shah's father, like...
We just discussed him.
Wajid Ali Shah's father was name was Amjad Ali Shah. So imagine how history is convoluted that a person named Amjad plays the role of Wajid Ali Shah.
Of the son whose father is the same name and all. Wow, kya baat hai.
And the crux of the story is that, there are two Nawabs who are not interested in life. They just keep on playing chess. Sanjeev Kumar and Saeed Jafri play the two Nawabs. It's a nice movie. And basically there's a war battle going on in the background, but they keep on playing chess. So that is,
La La Land mein jee rahe hain.
Yeah, so that's the other interesting trivia is that the role of General Outram was played by one of the most famous directors in movie history. So Richard Attenborough, who directed Gandhi.
Yes.
So we also know him as John Hammond from Jurassic Park, the old man from Jurassic Park who says spare no expense. So I think he was in India scouting locations or something. Possibly he had a friendship with Satyajit Ray and he said, okay, aap aa jao mere acting karne ke liye. Authentic British person acting as the role of General Outram.
So it's a proper Hindi movie where he is acted.
Yes.
Right?
So he used to, apart from direction, he used to act in movies. He's played Santa Claus in a movie and all that. So this is his only Hindi.
क्या बात है, क्या बात है, वाह.
Yeah.
Angrezo, Bharat Chodo, ऐसे सब sentences बोला होगा, like how we have heard in these
Yeah, in
1947 love story and all that movies.
Lagan, you know, they have.
Lagan, yes, Angrezo, they'll come to that. But it's का authentic diction होगा. Oh, fascinating, man. Nice.
The second movie that I would like to talk about based in Lucknow is Chaudhry Ka Chand. So Chaudhry Ka Chand is again story about, you know, the nobility in Muslims, and it is a story made by Guru Dutt. Shows a very nice depiction, shows a beautiful depiction of, you know, life in the old times in Lucknow, and a very immensely watchable movie as well. Thirdly, I would like to talk about a book, which is also a series. One of the longest novels in English language is A Suitable Boy. So A Suitable Boy, written by Vikram Seth.
Very, very popular, yeah.
And very, again, quite engaging. While it is 1400 pages, it's mostly slice of life, mostly about life in an unnamed town. I think he names the town. But the town is actually a stand-in for Lucknow. So he has changed the name of buildings, he has changed the name of mohallas, but the description that he has written, so people who have lived in Lucknow would know what he's talking about, because the city is actually a mirror. That city is actually a mirror city of Lucknow. It's a fake city, but it's modeled entirely on Lucknow. And because it was modeled entirely on Lucknow, when the Netflix series The Suitable Boy was made, it was shot in Lucknow. And how I discovered that the series was being shot was by accident. Papa and I, we were walking somewhere near Hazratganj. Near Hazratganj, there are a lot of old, big houses. In front of one of the houses, there was a board saying, there's a character's name, and it was saying, Mantri Purva Pradesh. So Purva Pradesh obviously does not exist in India. I was for a second racking my mind whether Purva Pradesh was the earlier name of some Pradesh and all that.
Or suddenly the name has changed.
Yeah, suddenly these days it can happen. You never know. These days it can happen. So Purva Pradesh, it struck me, Purva Pradesh was the name of the fictional state used in Suitable Boy. That's how I got to know that Suitable ki shooting wahan pe ho rahi hai. So it's a good companion book for Lucknow.
Oh, I liked watching the series actually. The city sets looked really good, and that's Lucknow. So wow.
So that is what I would like to recommend about in terms of movies as well as in terms of one series / book. These days Lucknow is hot topic, like lot of gangster kind of like movies and all that are shot. You know, you are showing
the Mirzapur ka third series also shows a lot of Lucknow.
Yeah, because you have to show heartland, so
correct.
It is more equated with violence and all that and politics.
Yeah. So yeah, it does hinterland kind of things.
But Shatranj Khiladi and Chaudhry Ka Chand are movies that show you like the beautiful pristine part of Lucknow, which
lovely. Now with this in mind, I have to go and watch these movies.
Yes,
definitely, yes. Very nice.
And uncle, what about some of your recommended ones?
Yeah, more popular right now. The latest movies will be Gulabo Sitabo.
Correct. Vaibhav, तुमको ही बोलना चाहिए था, अंकल को याद है गुलाबो सिताबो.
So Gulabo Sitabo has shot in Lucknow, and Amitabh Bachchan used to move with that makeup, and not many people recognize him. The way the makeup was done.
हाँ, उनका तो makeup was quite elaborate. That large nose वगैरह जो सब किया था उन्होंने.
And Umrao Jan. Umrao Jan is a famous novel.
Yeah, correct.
Umrao Jan. Muzaffar Ali. Muzaffar Ali lives in Lucknow. So Muzaffar Ali has made that movie. But Umrao Jan deals with dances, and let me take you to the dances.
Yes, please.
Because
dances, theatre, all these kind of things.
Correct. Yeah. So movie like Mughal Azam, where you get Mohe Panghat Pe Nandalal Chhed Gayo Re, that type of dance. Evergreen Madhubala.
Yes, of course.
It has a very close association with Lucknow.
So Lucknow is known for all this, na Kathak Gharana and all.
And dance director was Lachu Maharaj. He's an uncle of Birju Maharaj.
Yes.
So they were all very close friends of my mother-in-law's father, Shambhu Maharaj, Lachu Maharaj. And the Lachu Maharaj, there is what she used to tell, the word comes from Lucha, somebody who is not very good.
Oh, Lucha Lafanga jo bolte hum log.
Yeah. So in childhood, from there, ultimately it got improved and converted to Lachu Maharaj. So Lachu Maharaj directed Mughal Azam, Pakiza, Mahal, a good number of dances. For our generation, maybe Birju Maharaj is a much more prominent name for the dance. So if you start tracing it back from Birju Maharaj, Birju Maharaj's father was Achan Maharaj. The three brothers, Achan Maharaj, Lachu Maharaj and Shambhu Maharaj. And they come from an old family of Kalka Bindadin, the Kathak dancers.
Okay.
The house where they used to live, Birju Maharaj, Achan Maharaj, Shambhu Maharaj and all that, it has been now converted to museum called Kalka Bindadin Ki Jodi.
Oh.
Like that. But Kalka Bindadin, two brothers, Kalka and Bindadin. Bindadin had three sons, Lachu Maharaj, Achan Maharaj and Shambhu Maharaj. They were the dancers at the time of Vaidali Shah.
Like court dancers.
The court dancers.
Oh.
But the more important was the uncle of Bindadin, Kalka Bindadin, the uncle was Thakur Prasad. And he was the guru of Vaidali Shah, who taught him how to dance.
Wow.
So Vaidali Shah was not only a connoisseur of dance, he was a good performer also.
Phenomenal. I've never heard of like a king who's a dancer himself. Wow.
Yes. The king would like everybody to dance to his tunes, but he himself is the performer.
Brilliant.
And he has written a lot of plays also, theatre also, because mentioned about theatre.
Yes.
Yeah, so there were two types of theatre. One was called Indar Sabha. Indar Sabha was a film also with 73 songs, or a huge number of songs.
Chitrahar.
So something like that. So Indar Sabha and Rahas. Rahas, Ras Leela. With Radha, Krishna and Gopis and all. That was the dance, Rahas, where Vaidali Shah will become the Krishna and everybody else will become the Gopis and dancers will perform. So
again, cross-religious things happen.
Yeah. So Lucknow, there are not many issues like religion.
I love it.
So the more interesting thing is this Vaidali Shah has written a book called Bani. There he mentioned about 36 types of Rahas. So how a Rahas has to be performed. There is 36 types.
Wow.
And how a dancer will walk, how the ghungat veil has to be lifted. So there are books like Nazo, Dulhan, Bani, which deals with the different nuances of dance, all written by Vaidali Shah himself, no ghost writing.
Oh, I'm fascinated. I mean, he does it and he owns it also, that he's a dancer. And
he used to write songs also, Thumris. Thumri is a light classical or semi-classical form with a very strong focus on the softer aspects, romantic aspects. Very popular song was Babul Mura Naihar Chuto Jai. Even K.L. Sagal has sang that. But this is what is called as Lucknow style of dance.
Okay.
Kathak has mostly two styles, Jaipur Gharana and Lucknow Gharana. In the Jaipur Gharana, the focus is more on the footwork. What is a Kathak? Kathak is basically storytelling. Katha kahe, to Kathak kahaye. Anybody who tells story is a Kathak performer.
Lovely. I did not know this background of Kathak. Okay. Yeah. Beautiful.
So started Banaras, moved to Lucknow, started temple dances, moved to courts. The Nawab patronized it, came to Lucknow, and then Jaipur also kings patronized it. So in the case of Jaipur, it's a foot movement. In Lucknow, it's more on the facial expression. So what the word is, Bhav Batana. Birju Maharaj was quite famous for that Bhav Batana. So some poetry will be sung and they will dance like that, and ultimately they will do the Bhav. So Kathak got lot of patronization, and still you have a Kathak Kendra.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure, any number.
I'm coming as a tourist and I enjoy seeing live performances. Like how Bombay has NCPA, Prithvi Theatre, jahan pe main jaake I can see anyone performing and I'll have fun. What does Lucknow have if I want to
Lucknow has a lot of performing arts centers. And you have got Sangeet Natak Academy.
Okay.
Right in the beginning of Gomti Nagar. And they have two auditoriums. And their regular performances are held. Similarly, there is the Bhatkhande College.
Okay.
Music college. They have got Umanat Bali Hall. There also performances are held.
So regularly, if I can just go and book my show or something, I can probably book a.
You can look for
a seat and go and watch it.
And Kathak Kendra also, they will keep on organizing.
Oh, very nice.
Something.
And is there some like एक season होता है जहाँ पे बहुत अच्छा होता है like
normally winters.
Normal winters, same thing. Okay. This is very nice tip. So winters में होता है, but otherwise anytime whenever you go, कुछ ना कुछ.
So most of the time you'll be able to.
You'll be able to see something.
You'll be able to get some.
Very nice. I'm very happy. ठीक है. Okay.
And I would like to close my part of it with what you raised an issue, nazakhat, nafasat, and rawayat, those type of things.
Yes.
Essence of Lucknow.
Nazakhat and all of that. Yes.
First of all, let me say why it happened in Lucknow.
Yes.
So again, go back to France.
France.
Again. And again, it's a partially true, partially wrong. If you go to Paris, you feel there is a Parisian culture. But not everywhere. You'll get all types of people, even in Paris. So you get a Parisian culture and you don't get a Parisian. Every culture requires a leather class. What we got this Pygmalion, Manash's famous play. It became My Fair Lady. Culture is a contrived thing. It's cultivated. That's what the whole focus of My Fair Lady is that.
I love the movie. It's such a beautiful movie.
Anybody can be made cultured.
That's true.
So here also what happened, because in the Nawabi period, it was a protected period for about 60, 70 years. The Britishers had covered you, so you have to live under their patronage. But you still have money coming to you from revenue and from other sources.
Okay.
And normal life of a Nawab and relatives and Chota Nawab and further Chota Nawab is to provide a patronage to a shayar, a musician, an artist who will come and sing shayari, sing some music to you or recite some shayari to you.
Kya life hai.
But at the same time, you should be adept in appreciating that shayari or listening to that music and appreciating that dance. So they will be groomed like that so that they should be good in language, good in culture, and that class developed. And with that, fineness of language, because they are developed like that. So what we called is nazakhat and nafasa. But the more important thing is what the word we use called rawayat.
Okay.
So the way a person behaves.
Ab तीनों में difference बताइए. I do not know the difference.
Nazakhat means something which is very feminine, very soft, very sensuous, something like that.
Okay.
Nafasat means very fine etiquettes.
Okay.
Rawayat is a tradition.
Okay.
People are caring for each other. People will show respect. Like even my friends, the old Lucknow friends, they always say adab. But you have to use the right hand, take it to the right height, and bow your head in a right degree.
शाहरुख खान करते हैं ना अंकल हमेशा.
So that type of adab you have to learn right from the childhood days to perform that. And the language, the softness of language, somebody told me a few days back, very interesting. There was a magistrate, and anybody who lives in Lucknow for a few years, it becomes susceptible to this type of language.
Wow.
So there was a crowd, and he had to order a lathi charge. So normally we'll say that it's an unruly assembly, and you go, and otherwise I will beat you with a stick. But he got a table, stood up there, took a megaphone, and started speaking. आप हजरात बहुत मुअज़्ज़िज़ लोग हैं. You people are very respected lot.
Okay.
In a very soft tone. आप हजरात लोग बहुत मुअज़्ज़िज़ लोग हैं. हमें कहते हुए अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है. I don't like saying it. But अगर आप लोग नहीं हटे तो मजबूरन हमको लाठी चार्ज करने का आदेश हुक्म देना पड़ेगा.
इतने प्यार से कोई बोलेगा तो मैं हाँ ही बोल दूंगी साथ.
So like that, then order of lathi charge was being given, and people were all assembled, sloganing. So what happened then when you order for lathi charge? Initially, the policeman, they will stick the sticks, the baton on the road. They will not beat anybody because only warning has been given. Like a band wala, they do the rehearsal before the barat starts. They will start beating the band. So like the police wala start beating the sticks. One person came out from the crowd, tall man, 6 feet, with a black sherwani, with a chola pajama, typical of Lucknow, with the nokdar shoes.
Okay.
And he came and पंजे के बल खड़े होके, he's telling his friends, हजरात, अब लाठी चार्ज होने ही वाला है. आप सब लोगों से गुजारिश है कि कृपया मेहरबानी करके यहाँ से तशरीफ ले जाएं.
यहाँ में तशरीफ and all has to be मेहरबानी तशरीफ is for backing off.
Oh. And an actual thing what has happened. So it is something which seeps in your culture. But again, it will part of old Lucknow. The new Lucknow, because people keep on migrating.
Yeah.
And they come up with their own culture and their own grooming and the whole socialization process. So there's a poetry on Lucknow, beautiful poetry on Lucknow. It says, Lucknow चार तरह के इलाकों से बना हुआ है. One is a coffee house. Because he was a poet, he must have spent a lot of time in coffee house. But the other three was very true. Hazratganj, Chowk, and Aminabad. Now there are many more, like Gomti Nagar and all those areas. But the Hazratganj culture was totally different from Chowk and Aminabad. Hazratganj was much more anglicized. Most of the people order even a restaurant in using English. And there's the British Council Library, American Library, and Mayfair was the picture hall with only English pictures will be shown.
Oh.
Yeah. Only when the Bobby and Pakiza came, they made a concession to screen Bobby and Pakiza because of personal friendship.
Even post-independence, you're saying only English.
Yeah, I'm talking about 60s till 60s. Yeah. So that was the culture of Hazratganj. So there were different areas, but this nazakhat, nafasat, and rawayat, it become ingrained and defines the city, the intangible part of city.
Wow. So Vaibhav, when you go, now that you're a Bangalorean, when you go back home, you also make some statements, kya, all this tashrif and...
I try to bring a bit of Lucknow in Bangalore.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
The language is really, really sweet. Yeah, it's really, really
sweet. Like everybody who's from Lucknow takes a lot of Lucknow. And today I listened to somebody, when Mr. Abdi is there, Culture Bazaar, I mentioned you.
Yes.
He recited, somebody rang his bell. Somebody came in a typical Lucknowi dress, came down from a taxi. Who is there? He said to that young man, tell your Walid Sahab ki machine aaye hai Lucknow se. So his father came and bahut josh se wo log gale wale mile, andar gaye. Then he talked a lot. कि चौक की वो दुकान कहाँ है और वो कबाबी जो था उसके बगल में नई दुकान खुली थी, how it is that, प्रकाश में पिक्चर कौन सी लगी. They kept on talking. He got a room. He said कि मैं पाकिस्तान में किसी के पास आया, and that man unfortunately has gone to Murree. Murree is like Shimla and the hill station. So now they are no longer there. तो मैं आपके पास आ गया. He said, okay, it's all right, very nice of you. Then when we came back, his son asked कि नाम क्या इनका है कौन. His father shushed him. Don't speak. Later on told his son, actually, I don't recognize him. But it's not in our culture to ask his name. And that person from Lucknow remained his guest for almost a month. So then later on he revealed, when he was totally lost in Pakistan, he told taxi wala, please take me to somebody's house who is from Lucknow. And they talked about the old days and they become close friends. So that is the rawayat of Lucknow. So even if you are not in Lucknow.
If you meet another Lucknowi, you become bros.
Yeah.
You know SAIL, right? Steel Authority of India Limited. So my dad used to work there, इसलिए मुझे ये सब याद है अभी भी. It's got a slogan saying that there is a little bit of SAIL in everybody's life.
Being here, there's a little bit of Lucknow in all your Lucknowi's life. Like if you have ever lived there, you will have something that you are
you carry a bit of Lucknow with you.
Yes.
So,
everywhere.
Like Neha's one Mama ji lives in America for, I think he has been living there for 50 years. He settled there.
For our listeners, Neha is Vaibhav's wife.
Yeah. So his Kavi Mama ji, he will definitely listen to this podcast. He is a big Lucknow fan. He is from Lucknow, but he has been living in the US for 50 years. But tone, his way of speaking, the words that he chooses, mixing Hindustani, which is Hindi and Urdu and all, is exactly like somebody who is still living in Lucknow. So that's basically, if you are rooted in Lucknow, you take Lucknow with you, and that's how you preserve Lucknow.
Oh, fabulous. Oh my God. I've had such a good time listening to your stories. My God. Seriously, you both of y'all are talented duo.
Your depth of knowledge through sheer reading and observing around is just phenomenal. So in the Mumbai wala episode of Vaibhav, he told us about his love for Lucknow, and then this episode happened. So हमारा अगला fascinating podcast episode क्या होने वाला है?
We will definitely, like Papa also likes Calcutta a lot. So maybe we should do a Calcutta one also sometime.
Have you, Uncle, traveled or been to Calcutta for a long time, or just the city fascinates you?
City fascinates me. I have been to Calcutta a few times.
Okay.
And because I'm a railway man, I kept on traveling. So I traveled to Calcutta also. And basically, I'm interested in movies and the culture part and books. Every time I go to Calcutta, I go to College Street. The only bad part is traffic jams, and you have to actually walk to College Street. And then there is a coffee house, and the Seagull bookshop is there. Rupa, all those things.
Sorry, everything is 18 something. All those places. So everything is dated like you have to go a century back.
Looks like it's a century back also.
Yeah, correct. You walk everywhere in Calcutta, looks like a century back. Everything.
Especially in that area.
Sahi baat hai.
So our common love for Kolkata will make this Kolkata episode happen soon, लगता है. I love Kolkata. So I'm very, very looking forward to this.
As we are ending the talk on Lucknow, in a way we are exiting Lucknow. Well, Papa is in Lucknow.
And for the past few hours, you and me and our listeners have been in Lucknow as well.
And we leave Lucknow by again talking about Wajid Ali Shah, because Wajid Ali Shah, like Papa mentioned, was a dancer, a writer and a poet. So when he was arrested and he was taken to Calcutta, he wrote the lines, "Jab chhod chale Lucknow nagari, to kya kahe hum pe kya guzri." So that's the lament of everybody who leaves Lucknow. Ki chhod chale Lucknow nagari.
Yeah, and I would like to add only one line from here. As you say, you carry a bit of Lucknow.
Yes.
Wajid Ali Shah carried a lot of Lucknow to Matia Burj. And even the biryani got modified to Calcutta biryani.
Oh yes.
Oh, Lucknow biryani, OG biryani.
Yes.
Yeah, it got converted. And the entire Matia Burj is called a mini Lucknow.
I think Varun Grover, Varun Grover is from Lucknow. So he's one of the exponents of current stand-up and writing and all that. I think one of the places he says कि कलकत्ता वालों तुम लोग क्या बोल रहे हो, बिरयानी तो हमने तुमको सिखाई है. I think Varun Grover or Ranveer Brar is also from Lucknow.
Oh.
Says कि कलकत्ता वालों तुम लोग क्या कहते हो कि बिरयानी तो हमने तुमको बनाना
सिखाया है.
Because they were short of mutton and eggs, so they added potato. That's the.
Acha. Oh, that's a fabulous closing, man.
Yeah.
Yes. And on that fantastic note, I'm also saying that when we do Calcutta, we will have both of you all with us. Uncle, I'm putting this out on air that I would love to do an episode just on Indian railways and exploring different parts of India, through the railways.
I'd love to have you back for that episode.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
I really had such a nice time with both of you all. You all are such lovely storytellers. Vaibhav, we are doing this again. And I'm a fan. And you have made a lot of fans as well on the channel. So thank you very much. And you've introduced me to Uncle. So double thanks for that, Uncle.
Yeah. We all enjoyed it.
Time flew. We didn't realize that it's been so many hours.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Looking forward to the next. Thank you. Bye-bye. Phenomenal stories from Srivastav, Uncle and Vaibhav, right? See, how correct was I when I said Lucknow tourism numbers are going to soar now? You know what? We have started a new service of putting together travel itineraries to destinations made just for you. So if you want to plan your trip to Lucknow or anywhere else, leave us a note on Instagram or DM us on our Substack page and we will plan something super special for you. We are called Misadventures of a Sneaker on both Instagram and Substack. All the links are in our show notes. Also, if you enjoyed listening to this episode, would you like to support our team by buying us a coffee? If yes, you can head over to our show notes and click on support to contribute any amount you'd like. It will be a huge morale booster for us. Thank you.